Welcome to Midnight Grappler Animals, home of Flub Nation. I am your host today, Keigen, and today I have with me a couple of revolutionaries who, I find maybe a little bit distasteful. I maybe don't agree completely, but we got to work together. Today I got a couple scoundrels here named Lan and Salt. What's up, guys? How are you overthrowing the Empire today?
I'm ready to infight with my fellow leftists. I'm ready to add no progress to this revolution.
Fred Durst voice at Woodstock 99. I feel like shit.
Okay.
No, you got to put more heart into it. Come on.
I feel like shit.
Step back from the mic and then just
Okay.
let it all out, man.
No, I don't want to wake anyone
It's pretty
up.
early. It's pretty early.
Oh yeah, it's true. It is
It's
like
morning.
8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being woken up at 8? Not by an alarm or anything, just by someone screaming, I feel like shit.
By a bad impression.
Yeah. Can you imagine going into work? If people are asking you why you got like bags under your eyes, and you got to be like, I got woken up by my significant other yelling, I feel like shit, like Fred Durst from Woodstock 99.
For an intro bit to his podcast. Oh, you know what though? You feel like shit. That's okay. Today we get to talk about Andor. I'm so excited to talk about
Which doesn't
Andor.
make me feel like shit, for the record.
No. Very excited to talk about this hit. No doubt, incredibly highly watched and successful hit Disney Plus Star Wars TV show that came out. When did it come out? 2023?
2022. It was originally meant to come out in 2021.
Okay.
But then because of pandemic stuff, it got pushed back a year.
Okay. So 3 years. And yeah, we are watching it because I don't know. I pitched it because season 2 is coming pretty soon, and I'm very hyped. So Lan had watched it before. I had obviously watched it before, but Salt hadn't. And so I'm going to be turning and looking at Salt frequently in this to see how things worked for him, because a lot of the initial reception was about its slowness. And you can kind of control that more when you're binging it or watching it the way we did. And maybe not. Maybe Salt is still going to be like, this was slow as shit. But we'll see.
Yeah, if you have listened to the pod before, you will know I am not a Star Wars guy. We did an episode covering Star Wars knockoffs and how I enjoy them more than real Star Wars. So yeah, I'm a little bit of a wild card in this situation.
A little crazy.
A little crazy.
A little mercenary.
Whoa, oh my, yeah, that's true. Unpredictable.
The clem of this equation here.
Oh yeah, you also could have called this episode "The Adventures of Chief Keef."
It could be it. Like,
I really hope for season 2 he comes up with even more crazy names.
more fake names.
You got some
Yeah,
really
yeah.
fantastic names.
Yeah,
this,
the fake names
season.
are good.
So how are we doing this? Like episode by episode?
We'll do
or
arc by arc, I think.
Arc by arc.
Also-
Wonderful.
The flow of our discussion on Defenders was good.
Yeah,
think-
it was pretty good.
I don't feel like I'm going to rely on you guys' notes more instead of like going deep into summarizing everything that happens in each episode.
Okay.
So
Actually, do you want to do first impressions first? Because,
sure.
I had a very different first impression when I heard this show even getting announced versus like how I feel about it now. Completely different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what changed, Lan? What are the two lands?
Okay, so I watched Rogue One in theaters. I think it might have been the first Star Wars movie I actually saw in theaters. No.
You didn't watch Force Awakens?
Force Awakens I didn't watch in theaters.
That's crazy.
But I did watch, I think it was Phantom Menace in 3D. So it was the first Star Wars
like release
movie, release that I saw. Must have been Rogue One, because I hadn't seen any of the Star Wars movies when The Force Awakens came out.
Right. Yeah. If you want more about that, patreon.com/midnightgrappleranimals has an episode of Sentimentality and Nostalgia where Lan talks about his Star Wars history.
Yeah, and you can call me out if my story's not accurate, because I honestly don't remember.
No, I think I can't keep track of my lies. That
Ooh,
was 2024 Lan.
2024 Lan might not have been lying, but maybe I'm lying right now. I enjoyed Rogue One for what it was. I had my issues with it, but I think I was mainly there for the Donnie Yen of it all, which is what attracted me to watch that movie. But I remember this got announced, I think around the same time that they were doing Disney Plus announcements, like the initial round of Disney Plus announcements, right? So you had like The Mandalorian, you had
probably Obi-Wan was something, maybe
probably,
Ahsoka,
but I remember, no, not Ahsoka. I remember
maybe.
specifically that Andor was one of the announcements, and I remember my initial reaction to that going, him of all people, because I didn't have any strong feelings about Andor as a character in Rogue One. And so I thought it was really, really weird that they were hinging an entire series, and presumably with this being Disney Plus, a prestige series about Andor. At that point, I hadn't known that the Gilroys were involved with it. I hadn't known anything about the actual production itself, and we wouldn't know for another few years. But even up to the release, my reaction was, why does this need to exist? And then I actually watched the show, and I'm like, okay, I see why this needed to exist.
I see your value.
Yeah. What about you, Keigen? Because I know your feelings on Rogue One are a bit...
Yeah. Well, see, those, I can't remember if last time I watched Rogue One would have been after Andor. And I think that was like the first time I didn't really like it. On release, I was like, this is great. Star Wars is back. We're back. Star Wars isn't just the main movies. They could do stuff in it. And so I was pretty high on Rogue One when Andor would have been announced. But I was the complete opposite. When everybody was reacting to Andor being like, why does this, why, what? I was already comic brained at the point. I was already like, even to a degree, Star Wars EU brained stuff where it's just like, this is actually where people can make stuff. Like the main stuff is where everything's kind of bland. Over here, off with like this guy who's just a dude, like that's where you can actually work. That's where you can actually like produce a cool thing, a cool new thing. So I was kind of an Andor truther from the announcement, like especially with my friends. I was like, this is going to be the best one. You guys have zero faith. And then like the first trailer came out and I was like, look how right I am. And then the show came out and I was like, there would have been zero convincing me about anything bad about the show as it was releasing. It was just like, no, like, look, this is an actual like show about rebellion and about like armed resistance. This is dope.
Being right rocks.
It really was like the best. I
love being right.
It was just like pure conviction too. Like it could have been awful, and I knew that too in the back of my head. I was like, this show could be terrible, but like if it follows a pattern of like anything real, anything like I've seen in other mediums, it's like this. There's no reason this isn't going to be good, basically. But plus, Star Wars just has a good history of dealing in this area really well. The Rogue Squadron books are like beloved by people for like Gen X people at least, and then even more recently with Disney canon, the Alphabet Squadron books are like actually really, really good war time stories. So there's that kind of stuff too, where it was just like there's a history of this working out in Star Wars, so there's no reason to really question it. And yeah, I was right. It was great.
I think the
one
thing
of the
that
reasons I like the show so much.
surprised me the most, though, is like how much ground there is still left to cover with Empire era stuff. Because in my mind, even now, I always think that everything there is to be explored in the Star Wars universe has been explored. Like for specifically within the scope of the Empire era, right? Like, it's so crazy to me that like Mon Mothma was not developed as a character prior to Andor. Like she was there, she was in Rogue One, she was in Return of the Jedi, and was she in the final cut for Revenge of the Sith, or was that deleted scenes?
She's in like anything she actually does is in deleted scenes, but like she's in a couple shots, kind of stuff. Like
so
she's
the idea that like she has
O'Reilly is present.
Yeah, like she has a daughter, she has a husband. Like we never see any of that, so it's crazy to me that like there is still room for that. Among other things, like the fact that we still don't know what Yoda's people are called, right?
Yeah.
Like what are they? What's the species called?
Yeah,
You would think that the
Star Wars.
Mandalorian, the show that focuses on,
No, he's a fondling. He's a fondling.
He's a foundling. Yeah. Okay,
Don't
sorry.
even-
My bad.
God.
My bad, OG.
Taking away his culture. You're taking away his heritage now. Trash. Hey, Salt, why did you skip to Andor? Was it just because it was Star Wars?
What did I skip to Andor? What are you talking about?
Why did you skip it like when it came out? You're just like, nah.
Oh, no, that's less to do with it being Star Wars, because I had multiple people tell me it was really good, and I had watched the first 1 or 2 episodes. And I said, I get why people like this. It's really more of a me habit where I start so many shows and I go, I like this, and I forget because I'm doing so many other things. It's not at all the series problem.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we could dive in. I think that's our cue. That's our cue to get into this we're gonna enter a bigger world right now.
See, if you listen to the B-sides for this episode, then you'll know what that is referencing.
I love
It's a little subtle gag for the true members of
We're all
Float
becoming
Nation.
larger guys in a bigger world.
As long as you can compare us to other guys.
Yeah.
I need to get my cat
Sometimes
in here.
it just requires a good bit of luking, you know? You just gotta look into it, you know?
Luke in the
You have
right
to
places.
Yeah.
I need people to compare me against my Gooner soundbox. That's like 4 B-sides worth of. Anyway, Andor. So yeah, I think we'll go arc by arc. So arc 1. So each arc in Andor is basically built around like some sort of like film premise too, which will become clear. And the first arc is the kind of movie where a dude just like gets himself in the worst problem he's ever had and like barely gets out of it. You know, what are some movies in this genre? I think No Country for Old Men is kind of in this genre.
Yeah.
Where it's just like you're just in a problem forever.
Inside
gets
Llewyn
put into
Davis.
Yeah.
We're gonna just name a bunch of Coen Brothers movies now. Like,
Oh, brother, where art thou?
yeah, it's basically the Coen Brothers whole thing. So
Yeah.
it's
So
basically
the first
Coen
arc
Brothers
is a
movie.
Coen
Simple
Brothers
Plan.
movie.
Basically. I mean,
and
really,
maybe
it
a
is
little
very
less funny.
Bourne-esque, right? Like, the
Yeah.
Bourne movies are a guy being put
Yeah.
into a situation and having to, get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also reminds me of classic noir.
See, I was thinking about that, and I was like, this is going to be a point against me in terms of noir stuff. My recent statement that I don't really like noir, and I guess this is a noir thing that I like. There we go. This list is starting. Cassian season 1 arc 1.
It's just like giving food to a baby, Just, if you the airplane in this case is an X-wing. If you here comes the X-wing, and you put in a little bit of noir into Keigen's
when
mouth,
I
and
watch
he's like, "Oh, it's
like
like
a
pretty good."
40s. When I watch a 40s good noir movie, I'm gonna be like, oh, this is just like Star Wars.
Yeah,
Really
it's
gonna
like
help.
if you look at the long goodbye in the lens of a Star Wars movie, it's actually
It's actually really good.
yeah.
I want to say something about how we're introduced to Andor.
Yes, of
I-
course, because
And I don't think I brought this up on an episode before, but what I really like about Andor is that he is not a good guy. And what I mean by that is Star Wars has a long history of scoundrels and scumbags dating all the way back to Han. And I always felt like I'm told what a bad guy Han is, but he's really he's snarky. That's not being a bad guy.
And he's really cool also.
Well, there's the Greedo stuff. Come on, guys.
I don't know what Land's talking about.
I don't know what you even said. Yeah,
I said Greedo. Was that his name?
I thought you talked about a burrito. I heard burrito.
Okay.
So there was just like a lot of moving voices.
But Greedo's essentially like just another alien that gets
Greedo
killed.
deserved
right?
it.
Yeah.
Greedo deserved it. That's what I'm saying.
Greedo deserved it.
You could shoot people as long as they're not white.
But if we look at Han's relationship to the thrust of the plot and Luke's goals, like I don't remember the movies that well. I haven't seen them since I was a little kid, but like majority of Han's actions are arguably good-natured, and Cassian is a bad dude, or
he is
maybe not a bad dude, but I think that's the debate, right?
A self-serving dude for sure. Like everything he does is in service of what he wants. Like whether that's finding his sister, which is like the what is it, the driving force,
the actual
for this first arc.
actual introduction. Like that's how the show starts.
Or later on, like him trying to get out of the situation, or getting out of having to do the Aldani stuff, or getting out of the prison. A lot of it is self-serving, and I think the show does a really good job of disabusing him of those notions.
Yeah, to solve. I think one of the things that I really like about this arc, this episode, the structure of the thing, especially, is that like, I mean, if you're a typical Star Wars viewer and you see him go into a pleasure house, I think they call it.
They call it brothel. Basically a brothel.
They do call it a brothel too. He goes into a brothel, and then he kills a couple cops. Right, that's like the first 6 minutes of the show. Like you're gonna be like, wow, this guy. But even he gets worse. Like as the episodes continue, you find out like he's used everyone around him. He has favors that he owes to literally everyone around him. His like, kid, teenage crush, sweetheart is just like, get out of my face and like leave me alone. Like everybody wants distance from him. Marva's disappointed from him, his adoptive mom. Like, and it's deserved. The arc slowly rolls that out too. I guess maybe not slowly, like it all.
And then there's also Brasso, who Brasso's Brasso.
The homie.
That's the homie. Even despite how shitty a person Andor is, my favorite scene in the first episode is the bit where Andor and Brasso meet up for the first time after Andor's killed the two cops, and they come up with the alibi on the spot.
Yeah,
Brasso's
like telling each other what
understanding what's going on, and like, oh, so good.
Really, really good.
Yeah. It's like, such a perfect encapsulation of their relationship, right? Like the amount of trust that they have in each other to actually like pick up the pieces and run with it.
Yeah.
Andor's characterization is really fun, regardless of his identity. But realizing he is an indigenous character makes those choices even more cool for me as a viewer, because I've seen indigenous characters portrayed in genre stuff before, like, superhero stuff and other comparable genres. And I haven't seen them portrayed with this much depth and allowed to be this flawed before. That's and not constantly citing the fact that they're indigenous too. Like that's really cool.
Yeah. That's like one of the, and I mean, they kind of lucked out there, right? Because they already have a character established. We know who he is in Rogue One. He's not like, he doesn't get an arc in that movie, really. Yeah, he does.
Nah.
He's one of the few characters who gets an arc. But like, it's still very shallow. It's very, but like, we understand who he is just in the first scene of the film. And so it's like, you have to hedge him near that and get him toward that, closer to that, right? Because he's not quite there here. And so it's like, they didn't know he grew up on a planet called Canary when they made Rogue One. That didn't exist. They didn't know that his people were in a genocide, whatever happened, or totally like shipped out to other planets.
Basically colonized and strip mined for resources. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, it's really cool that they stapled that on, but they had a whole character, a whole ass person that already existed. So they were able to reverse engineer that, and then it became a more real person, because that's how it's not how people are, but like it led to a more real person in aggregate than like people can do in comics for whatever reason.
This first arc has one of my favorite world building elements, and that is, I believe they're called the Premor Corporation.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's so cool, and in fact, it's so cool. It's something I wish that we had seen way more of. It's this idea that the Empire is growing rapidly, and what can grow even more rapidly in that context is profit seekers and entrepreneurs, right? Like someone has established a company to provide security and policing services in this sector of the galaxy. They have been contracted by the Empire to do so. All the ramifications and implications of this profit-seeking motive, of capital stepping up to enforce protecting property, seeing that we have that leading to this unified Gestapo force, that's so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah. I think especially the part of the cool thing about that is how, you're able to extrapolate all of that, but also just on the surface, they're just clearly cops, right? I've seen like Andor fans in different parts of the internet talk about how like, well, they're private security, and like talk about it as it's private security, but they are so clearly just police officers who, like in the brothel scene, they're acting as police there, even like when they invade the city in the third episode, they're doing so as a SWAT team, right? Like they're not doing so as a military, like they're doing it in a military force in the way that cops do it, not in a way of like mercenaries, or like even, paid soldiers or anything like that. And I like that so much too, because the reading on it is so easy to get there and figure out like that's what it is.
It's so weird that there'd be a fandom who would feel such a need to delineate those two things, because I hear you say, yeah, they're cops, and I'm like, well, yeah, that's arguably more important, but I find it fascinating that it's like this privatized police force, right? So it'd be like, oh, they're private security, as if that like cancels out the fact that they're cops. Difference. I hate fans, dude. We should destroy fandom.
Yeah, it's true. That is a very good bottom line. Kind of back to that opening scene. The two cops, him killing two cops is just such a sick way to start a show.
Yeah, it really sets the bar for like what to expect. Like the fact that it's not shying away from it, because like even in Rogue One, Andor does stuff, but he never stoops to a level that like your average NIMBY would be too shocked at, if you know what I mean. Like this, starting with him killing two cops is like, oh yes, this is the kind of guy that you're going to be dealing with for the next 12 episodes. Like it really sets a level of discomfort, like regardless of where you stand on cop things, this guy just killed two cops, so this is the person that you're expected to sympathize with, that you're expected to root for by the end of this season. Even like going into Rogue One. So it's bold, it's really, really bold to like start the season off on that note.
Yeah, I will say homie died from a headbutt. So that dude wasn't long for the world. I've heard so
many stories of people dying from getting punched, just like one punch, and
fair.
Yeah.
He deserved it though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the second guy too, trying to reason for his life.
Oh, it was good. The groveling was good.
Yeah.
What I like about the murder of the second cop, aside from more dead cops, is this idea that you have strategy and desperation intertwined. What I mean by that is it's a chicken or egg situation. You've got Cassian out of desperation killing this guy, but strategically it might tie up this loose end, right? But again, those cannot be separated. And that will also color a lot of choices going forward. Desperation and strategy completely inseparable.
Yeah. speaking of all that, like I think one of the unsaid things, right? Okay, you mentioned the Bourne trilogy, Lan, and the Bourne trilogy constantly is reminding you, like, this is a super special agent.
Yeah.
He's really special and
He's
cool.
so badass.
He's the best. He's the best.
He punches
there is at what
really
he
good.
does.
He can avoid. He has every blah blah. Okay, like it's never stated here. Andor, Cassian. I'm gonna try to use Cassian's name for the character so that we can use Andor as a show.
For the show.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Cassian is so competent. Like, and it's just presented as a thing that he just naturally is. You know, across all the arcs, it's like he's not, but it's not in a way that's like he's incredible either. Like, it's not totally unbelievable. Arguably,
He's good enough to hold his
but-
own, which is what catches the attention of a lot of people around him.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
in not only this arc, you know, with Luthen, but then in the next arc with Eldani and like again, every single arc in this show, you know, like so much of it hinges upon people recognizing Andor's inherent talent without explicitly being like, Andor's the best there is at what he does.
Yeah, it's like Andor can be useful, probably. Not Andor is going to be the heart of a rebellion, and that's also just, again, like that goes back to why I thought this was going to be a good show, because it was like, this dude's not the guy that's going to save every day ever, always, like, obviously, and like that's why this also works, because it's just like, well, he's a part of success, but he's not like single-handedly shouldering the weight of it, and it's cool. It's a cool.
It's
way
also
to
the idea
go
that
about
like
it.
the roots of a rebellion can come from the most unexpected people. You know, like a lot of people think that rebellions and revolutions are started by a certain kind of person, right? Like your Saw Gerreras in this case, or in real life, you know, like your actual revolutionaries. You know, you got your Malcolm X types, you got your Zapatas, you know, like the Zapatistas, and like the fact that we're starting off with this, not to say unsympathizable, but this character who you really can't see being a part of a rebellion at all. And, you know, if you're watching this without having watched Rogue One, you don't really know where he's going. If you're watching this having known Rogue One, it's this idea of, how is this guy going to become like the rebel force that he is in Rogue One?
Yeah, more trusted, especially in Rogue One. Like he's more of a lead operative at that point.
Yeah, it's not immediately apparent that like this guy is going to be so instrumental to the rebellion.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean that's one of the cool things is like this show is about how do you box in somebody like Cassian to the point that he has to become a revolutionary. He has to join the revolution.
Like this season is a 12. Like in my opinion, this season is a 12 episode as in 12 steps, a 12-step radicalization of your average person.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, for sure. That's other stuff in this first arc that I think, I mean, we touched on the Kenari stuff. The Kenari stuff is really cool though. Like, not even from Cassian's backstory stuff, not even from a Star Wars backstory stuff. Like, it looks really good. It's a really cool choice to have everything in their native language and like not tell you what's going on. It's all told visually. It's also really weird. Like I always forget to look at what logo is on the ship when they land, but I think it's the Republic logo. No,
it's the Empire. It's the...
It would be Separatists or
Separatist logo, yeah.
Republic. Okay,
because the Empire hadn't been fully established by that point, I think, or like the new
then,
logo
like,
hadn't been.
Yeah. No, it was it would have been Clone Wars. It would have been like pre.
No, I mean the Empire logo, like the one we see in the original trilogy.
Yeah. So like the Republic didn't have the Empire's logo.
Oh, okay. No. What I'm saying is like the Empire logo wouldn't have been.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like that transition didn't happen.
Right.
But like everything about that is super weird and disruptive of the show, and it's like such a great way of communicating that.
I think in terms of the colonization aspect of it, it's also really fascinating because it's not your like classic kind of colonization story where it's like the colonizers are here and they're interacting with the locals. Here it's like, no, we're here, we're setting space for this mining colony, and we're not interacting with anything outside the mining colony. If you come in contact with us, you're going to learn a lesson. But other than that, this is now our land. You're ceding your land to us to be mined for resources. And I think the opening of episode 2 really showcases the stark contrast between like the indigeneity as well as like the industrialization of the mining that the Empire's doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I liked seeing the Empire engaged in this vile mining operation as a means towards understanding the Empire's goals. Again, I haven't seen the original trilogy in ages, but like I never got this idea of how the Empire sustained itself. Obviously they're greedy. They would take anything in their path, but like even as a kid, I needed some idea of the business side of it, and to see this like ruthless mining operation go down like that is really cool, and like something I thought was missing from that original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
especially the mundanity of it all.
Yeah,
like even here with these flashback segments, it's not presented as the big "this is evil" kind of thing. This is just industry. This is industry, and this is coming into contact and conflict with nature. It's so matter of fact about it.
Right. That's really good.
Now, the other stuff of the Kenari is later in episode 3 with Marva. How do y'all feel about Marva?
Lover.
Okay.
It starts off kind of interesting because Marva is the only real anchor Cassian has to both Ferrex and really just his day-to-day life. Like he's he's so willing to throw away people like Bix, right? And we've seen how Fast and Lucy plays with other characters, right? He's not someone who shows up very often. Like Brasso is the one exception, but even Brasso doesn't feel like as much of an anchor to Cassian as Marva does. And I think that's a huge point of this like 12-step radicalization is, what does Andor have to lose? Because we're presented to Andor as a guy who doesn't really have much to lose. He's willing to kill cops because that's just what he needs to do to get out of a situation. But, here he comes back to Marva after the Aldani heist. He comes back to Marva, even after Narkina 5, his first reaction is to go back to Marva because she is his anchor. Yeah. So there's that aspect of it. But there's also the aspect of like being an aging revolutionary, or, what does that mean? Like your Angela Davis's, right? Like what does that mean to
like you made it to old age,
right? To be in your old age as a revolutionary, almost, like what are you capable of? What can you actually
unprecedented.
Do? Yeah, exactly.
Like you're supposed to die. I was supposed to die already.
Right, and we do see that with his adopted father, Clem. Right, like early on, he's what is it, Rick's Road that he's hung at?
Yeah.
Right, so like we see that contrast between the two adoptive parents. One died at a young age, and one made it to old age. So there is like there are many angles from which to look at Marva.
I looked at Marva too as a not only this aging revolutionary. I really like that lens Lan is using, but as someone who enjoys white privilege without there's a less clunky way of saying that, but
I love my white privilege.
What I mean though is she adopts Andor because it's the right thing to do. She's in the right place at the right time to avoid tragedy. But the way it's played, I almost got this feeling of like, I know I'm doing a good thing, right?
Yeah. So it's like when a white couple adopts a a baby from Africa or something.
I know a white couple like that, right?
Yeah.
Of course you do. You live in San Francisco.
yeah. Like that very much speaks to me, and I really like the dimension that's afforded to Marva in that context, right? Like that doesn't make the act any less noble. It merely complicates the ego behind it. So I'm going into that whole spiel to sort of get at like a wider strength of this series I really like, which is that these are all very flawed people. These are flawed people who do good things for the right reasons a lot of the time, but they're still selfish. They still have egos, and that makes them very real to me.
Yeah, the reason I brought up Marva is for that exact stuff, Salt, because I'm like, okay, this was 2022. This wasn't like Kids in Cages was happening, but we didn't care about it anymore because it was the Biden administration.
Right.
Well, and AOC went and cried, and we got our catharsis.
Well, yeah. I mean, to be fair, this did start production during the Trump administration, right?
It would have been on the mind, right? It was on my mind. It was on critics' minds where it's like, am I sold on all that, what you were saying, so on Marva being wholly good, right? And especially like that human trafficking pipeline that exists from Kids in Cages to white parents' homes, rich white couples' homes. And
but in this case, Marva also isn't a rich, like the other aspect of it is she is not,
and that's an important part of it. Yeah,
there is privilege there, but I think at the end of the day, she is still amongst the lower middle class of Varix.
Yeah, for sure. And like it's a very communal culture too, so it's just different. It's not a 1-to-1, and that's one of the things I like about it too. But I also the like extras stuff talks about Cassian and her relationship. I'm trying to look for the quote. And sorry. Diego Luna said, the act of dedicating to give your life to someone who can have what they need and the tools. Like the way Diego Luna talks about Marva, as a producer too, as a person who has some stake in telling the story, not just as an actor portraying Cassian. Like there's none of that really baked in. And I think some people did have a hard time with her. Like she saves him, but it is an abduction to a degree, right? It's an ethical abduction.
Yeah.
I think you can probably fairly call it that. But like from a production standpoint, even from like our conversation standpoint, from just watching the show, it's so much more complicated than that, and it's so crunchy and good. Like it's not a thing you could kind of like easily unravel, because it's like, it was a good thing to do. It's a thing that a good person does, regardless of the motives and stuff like that. I love it. I think like any discussion of it is always worth the time. And Marva's a super interesting character, as we'll get into with the finale stuff too.
I feel like that covers most of the first arc. I mean, there's certain characters
there are a few characters that I really want to talk to, because
we got to talk about Cyril. For sure, we got to talk about
Cyril Karn.
Yeah, the beautiful incel baby boy. He's awful.
Sad,
I love
sad
him.
Child.
Oh my god.
He just gets sadder the further the series goes.
His first scene might be my favorite scene with him, though.
Yeah.
Two men are dead, sir. Employees. And like the crazy thing is that boss was like, that whole scene where he goes to his boss, is like, there's two guys, we gotta fix it, and his boss is just like, dude, I'm going to a meeting, you need to shut the hell up, you need to go back to your cubicle and mind your business. They died being helpful is amazing.
Oh yeah, like, nothing too grand, he says in the right.
Don't make anybody look into this, and it's crazy because he's so right. Like even for Karn, even for Cyril, like nothing really works out for him in this season. You know?
No.
Like it sort of starts coming together at the end for him. But like other than like those last minute sort of like, okay, maybe things are looking up for my boy Cyril. Like his choice to blow this situation up is so bad.
it's so funny because his choice is really the inciting incident for everything else. Like, had he not done that, it probably would have just gone under the radar and things would have continued on as they were for a bit longer. But it's the fact that, like, his insistent, well, it's see, that's the funny thing. He is a very evil character. Him and Dedra, who we'll talk about later. Like, they do things for evil reasons. They are part of an evil system, but it's this idea that he believes in doing what is right. It's not something to sympathize, but it's like, oh, this is someone who wants to actually, like, he was sold on a lie and he believes in that lie so much that he's willing to sacrifice really anything
he's an objectivist.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's Mr. A.
Holy shit. Oh my God.
He's Mr.
That's
A.
so good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And he is just as fascinating a character as any other character in this show, in my opinion.
You put it that way, Saul, and like I was going to say, like, I think Cyril is more of a normal guy than Dedra.
Oh yeah.
Actually. Like, he's basically just a worker, Like,
he clocks in, he does his 9 to 5, he clocks out.
Like, he wants to do a good job.
Right.
He wants to do as good a job as he can. And he's the particular normal kind of guy. He's a middle manager. Right.
Yeah.
And like, but being an objectivist really kind of throws that off because that does make him pretty crazy. But you're right.
No, I think it makes perfect sense. There's you're saying
he's got middle
really not a power.
energy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, there's
like,
guys like that all over the world.
Yeah. Like, when he does his big speech in front of his guys in, I think it's episode 2 or 3, he says, there's no room on the path for doubt and justice. He's not confident, but he wants, like, he is, he really wants to be important. Like, I think that's so the key thing is, so much of what Karn does is he is just a cog in a system. But he wants to feel important. He wants to feel like he's actually doing something worthwhile, not for the sake of a promotion, but for some kind of. Well, there is, but like that comes from an idea of self-fulfillment, right? Like, he wants to feel fulfilled.
Exactly. But he has to follow the laws because the laws are good, and if they were not good, they would not be the laws.
Right. Like, it's the belief in the lie, right? Like, he came into the system in a lie. He was forced to be a cog in it. And his idea is like, I'm okay with being a cog as long as I'm doing something worthwhile or important.
Yeah. But also, if my boss tells me something and my gut check feeling says I could do the right thing that my boss wouldn't do and I'm better than him, then that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, like, my boss is actually not a part of the system. My boss is actually a rogue actor. I need to...
It's like,
my boss has gone woke.
My boss is too woke for this job.
That's so good.
I think Cyril's whole conflict really speaks to another theme I found fascinating throughout this series, which is the theme of legitimacy. Like, what makes for legitimate movements, what makes for legitimate enforcement, what makes for legitimate resistance movements, what makes for legitimate identities, even. Like, it's really cool.
Yeah,
that rules. My favorite Karn bit in the arc is how quickly he caves. When Andor has a gun on his head in the house, like, he's already hiding and sniveling, and the gun's to his head. The gun cycles, which is so sick. Like, that, the way that gun works is really cool. How many? 12, 14. It's just amazing.
He folds so quickly.
Folds immediately.
Like, episode 3 is such a good... It's so good at showing just how quickly things fall apart for him, because by the end of episode 2, it's this idea that, like, oh yeah, him and his, like, little rogue faction, they're gonna bring order and justice to Ferrix, and that it you know what it is, it's I would consider it equivalent to the two guys that tried to shoot at Trump. It's this idea that, like, we're conservatives and this guy doesn't believe in the conservative order, so we got to take things into our own hands. But they fail so hard at doing what they actually want to do, it blows up in their face, both literally and figuratively, so fast. I love episode 3 in that sense that, like, while all this important stuff is happening with Luthen and Andor and Bix, you just got things going absolutely awry in the background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very Cyril is a terrible leader. He's very incompetent. Very good contrast with Andor, and it's especially the kind of thing that, like, in a lot of other movies, Cyril would be the good guy, and he would have been competent, and he would have been able. Maybe it would have been difficult to catch Cassian still, but like he would have done it, you know. And so it's very fun to just like be able to look at the annoying middle management cop and like he sucks. It's
also really fun to contrast him with Dedra later on too, especially as they come into conflict with each other.
For sure. Okay, gotta mention B2. I love him. I love C-3PO. I think C-3PO fits an incredible. He's a great character to be used in the movies. B2 might be my favorite droid overall. He is so real. He's so tangible feeling, and like his being old is such a real part of his character too, in a way that like we don't necessarily see happen with like droids in Star Wars and like even robots and stuff. Love B2. And then Tim and Bix.
Cuck Tim.
Oh, he's such a little bitch. How dare you do that to Bix?
It's so funny because the gut instinct is to hate Tim, right? Like he is an obstacle in Andor's path. Yeah, he deserved everything that happened to him. But like when you look closer at like what kind of person Tim is, he's the guy that wants normalcy, but he's also so easily threatened by disorder. It's not just the fact that he sees Cassian as like the bull in the dynamic. It's the idea that like he sees Cassian as disorder, and he just wants to live a normal life. He just wants things to go back to the way they were before Cassian came and really mucked things up. So in his idea, he wants to do what he feels is right to reestablish that order. So even though he's not explicitly with the Empire, the actions that he does serves the Empire nevertheless.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Tim.
And he's a cuck, so there is that.
Yeah. Get out of here. Bix is hot. That's an important note to make. Also, I think I genuinely, it's probably happened in like books or something, but like that is almost like you could check the Wikipedia entry for sex, and like this is one of the few for sure. Like canonical, somebody had sex in Star Wars, and you go, girl, you get some, even if it's from Tim. Any other notes about that first arc? I know that when
Luthen's real mysterious.
There's a lot of Luthen
and cool
stuff in the next arc, though. He's a very good spy. He's an incredibly good spy. Immediately. Also, the chain room is nonsense. Like that's just a room with chains and hooks, and there's not an explanation.
That's some real Star Wars shit. That's some real Star Wars shit,
It's also kind of like Alien, the rain room with the chains in the original, in the first Alien movie. It's a little like that. But like, why are they falling? Why do they do that? Why is that a function of this room? Very funny thing.
It's a good confrontation between Luthen and Andor. Nothing feels easy.
Don't you want to actually, what is it?
You want to fight these bastards for real?
For real, yeah. All his voices as Luthen are so good. God, Skarsgård.
So I had a very different experience than you guys, being that this was sort of my first watch through.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And what I'm about to say is not a criticism of the show, but I did watch one or two episodes before and stopped watching. That's for my own reasons, but watching it this time. Getting to the third episode, I had this very like exciting moment. Like watching it, I realized, oh, this is where the show starts. Like this is where everything feels like it's really in motion. And that's not to criticize those first two episodes. Like I don't think you can change those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's also the reason why they released the first 3 episodes together when they initially launched the show. Because I don't think having just the first episode or the first 2 episodes even is enough to really sell someone on a show. Like, they're both very competently made episodes, but I think episode 3, like you said, that's where it really starts to click, you know, like what this show is, what the energy is.
Yeah. And like, we're still meeting new characters that matter for the entire narrative in episode 4. So like, it's
like
a
Mon
very
Mothma.
like a bunch, like Mon, Dedra, the NIS, even Cyril's mom, fantastic character. So like, it's just a weird show that is structured not like a TV show. It's structured like 3 movies with some interstitials. It's really the only way to describe it, and like, is, I would arguably say, the correct way to watch it, which is, as much as I'm annoyed that season 2 is releasing that way, I do get it, because that's clearly the way they made it, you know. Even like the production, the way they produced and made this show is like in 3 separate units who filmed stuff for their movie, basically, you know, whether that's the Ferrigs, the Aldani, or the Narkina 5 stuff. So very, very not, it's not a very episodic show. It's a very arc based show anyway.
I want to share my most important note from the second arc.
Okay, you can get us started on the second arc.
I wrote, Premor getting fired for the reason they did is like if the DOD severed ties with Blackwater for committing slaughter of civilians. In that sense, the Galactic Empire is not as fascist as the U.S.
It made me. I took like a similar note, not as many words, but I'm like, how is the Empire more ethical than America?
Yeah, that's crazy.
How is the evil Galactic Empire ran by Satan more ethical than the United States of America? It's incredible. What a guy. Gilroy, I'll watch everything of yours, Mr. Gilroy.
Have you seen Michael Clayton yet?
I haven't. I'm gonna watch it before we watch Rogue One. So,
okay.
Dear listener, at some point in the next month, you'll hear me recommend it on Tastemaker's Grab Bag, and that means it's time for you to go to Midnight Grappler Animal or patreon.com/Midnight Grappler Animals to listen to our Rogue One episode. So the second arc is the terrorist heist. That is, as I called it, that's the rest of the arc, the Aldani arc. And yeah, I mean, the Andor, the Cassian half of it is basically him joining up with a band of rebels to do a terrorist heist in the middle of a religious ceremony. It's exactly as sick as I just described it. It's extremely cool. It's some of the coolest stuff in any Star Wars ever, I think. It really stands up with like whatever else. And the other half of the arc is introducing Dedra and the NIS, doing the politicking there, introducing Cyril's mom, incredible woman.
Introducing Mon Mothma, or reintroducing
Mon, yeah, and that whole plot line that becomes incredibly important for the rest of the show. So, how do you all want to tackle this?
I mean, shit, this really is like the inciting incident for everything else in the show. Like, everything else in the show happens because of what happens in this arc.
Let's start with Aldani, and then we'll touch on Mon as we need to, because she has a lot of big crazy stuff too.
A good place to start with Aldani and all these different personalities is that this is a semi-recent gathering of resistance fighters. They kind of know each other well enough to work together, but as we will see, there are not only secrets but like different agendas that some of them hold, and that will affect how this outcome is determined, and specifically about the after outcome.
I love this note, Lan. Go ahead.
So it's a fun note about the production is when they were filming both this and the Narkina 5 segments, they got the actors who were playing the people that are already there to practice separately from Diego Luna himself.
Like, they did their line reads and stuff.
Everything
on their own.
was
They did all their everything until up to shooting.
And so when Cassian is meeting these characters for the first time, that's when, you know, Diego Luna is getting to learn how to act with these characters, or with these other actors, for the first time as well. So that happened here, and that also happened in Narkina 5, where like all of the other inmates had their table reads, had their practices and everything away from Diego Luna. And man, it shows. It really shows.
It's really cool. It's a really fun touch. And Luna said that he made that choice. They like asked him what he wanted, and he was like, "Actually, I think this is a good idea." And that's great. I love him. I think he's a genius. I took the note that he is an adult gi, so I've added him to my adult gi collection.
Interesting.
Or adults gi. It makes sense. I think very competent, very very nice man. And yeah, like one of the core parts of tension for the Aldani arc, especially, is that like he's not a true believer, quote unquote, and that creates so much tension in the group even before they know, right? There's that line in the first episode: we've been eating roots and sleeping on rocks for this rebellion, and now you've got a mercenary on board. That's what Vel says to Luthen when Luthen is saying, like, you have to take Clem. He's not called Cassian here; he's called Clem. He has a fun little nickname,
which is also the name of his dead adoptive father.
Yeah, so less fun, I guess.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, like this whole group is just like this dude's like he's being introduced to this thing, and it's a really good touch that Clem immediately comes in and he starts telling them their plan is bad. Like I love so much. He's like, "How are you even going to do this without me? You don't even know how to fly the ship. You didn't know there's a clutch." It's really really good. And
such a perfect encapsulation of bringing in a consultant onto a project.
Oh,
you know, when you got a contractor coming onto a project and the first thing they do is, "Hey, you're doing this wrong. You're doing this wrong. I don't even know why you're doing this." Like it captures that energy perfectly.
I have a completely unrelated note to all of that.
Beautiful.
So I'm always intrigued by world building and the different approaches one can take to it. And specifically the aspect of world building that I always find most intriguing, most satisfying is this concept of expansiveness. And it's a term I've made up, but what I mean is I really like when you can make a world that feels big, like you're alluding to other things happening. I can imagine those things happening. It feels like if I were in that scene and I walked off in another direction, something else would equally significant is happening or equally mysterious. The world feels alive, right? And it's something that I think about a lot because a lot of franchise stuff attempts it and falls flat on its face, right? Like they try to do this in the MCU all the time where they like reference a guy or reference a place or a thing.
Yeah, Budapest.
And it's horrible. But I mention it in regards to this series because the Kyber crystal is the perfect inversion of that. Because they could afford to get a lightsaber here. They could afford to get some Jedi actor. It's by showing the Kyber crystal, it's saying to me not so much like, "Hey, here's a thing you know." It's like saying, "Hey, this prop you're used to seeing in this franchise is being inverted in its purpose here. Where you're used to seeing a Kyber crystal is its purpose in building a lightsaber. It's a sacred weapon. Here it is a transactional unit."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I really like the intention of that.
Yeah. And I mean, even it being held as this like highly valuable thing to a revolutionary too, right? That's the thing Lan and I talked about a little bit in our chat of like, how does the Force relate to Andor the show? How is it used? And like, it's not, you know? The rebellion hasn't gotten to the point where they're saying, "May the Force be with you."
It's a kooky religion. Why would they carry it?
Yeah,
I mean, but they do though, right? Like this is 5 years before Yavin, and we know they're already saying it by then in 5 years, right? So like,
I mean, even by the time we get to Rogue One, they're working with
yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. Yeah. So like, and I mean that helps to highlight that there are different factions that eventually come together. And like, but Luthen having a Kyber crystal is meaningful in that same way too, even if it's not "May the Force be with us" or whatever. And it is interesting. It's an interesting use of
It's
that
interesting also in the way that like he has two lives, and one of those lives is being a collector and being a curator of culture. So like in a sense, the Kyric crystal does still have a cultural element to it because of that side of Luthen's life. But like, if you think about it as like a transition, you know, like when he transitions from being the curio shop owner to being the head of this rebel network, you know, the purpose of the object changes too. Because like again on the other side, the side of the curio shop owner, that is just an artifact, a cultural thing that he can pawn off to whatever Coruscant official wants to display it in their house or whatever, right? But you know, by making it into something that's a part of his other life, the nature and the value of it changes.
Yeah, he's symbolizing his trust with it.
Yeah,
and that's why he has to kill.
I want to talk about the Donnie people too, because you know, all of this is happening while they're getting ready for the big ceremony that they take part in episode 6.
The Eye of Aldhani, yes.
The Eye of Aldhani. And my first reaction to seeing the Donnie people is like, it feels like they're based off of the Finnish Sami people, like that indigenous group. And you know, there's a lot of indigenous groups indigenous peoples that the Donnie people can map to, but I think there is a core uniting factor that we really get to see on display, especially by the time of the heist. You know, this idea that like there is still room for indigenous joy in the face of, you know, absolute fascism. Yeah, they're a really key component to all this, and I think the arc doesn't work as well if not for the fact that there is this going on while they're, you know, getting ready for the heist and actually executing it. And so much of like the Empire side of things, right, is also contingent on the conflict and the clash between the Empire and these indigenous people.
Mm-hmm. On the note of Sami people, I've seen so many sci-fi and fantasy stories take inspiration from the Sami people, and what I always find so offensive is how they completely lift or copy the garb and make no changes to traditional Sami clothing. And this did a really nice job of being like, yeah, we're clearly pulling some inspiration from the Sami, but it's not like copying their clothes.
Yeah. Well, on that note, the costume design is done by Michael Wilkinson.
Hey, hell yeah.
Okay.
I want to hear about this.
Who do you know? Are you aware of Michael Wilkinson as a human? What he's done
as a human?
Okay, no, it's nothing like that, Lan. I looked him up by IMDb, checked out his IMDb. He has some incredible credits. Okay, which genuinely, like, I'm gonna say some movies of varying quality, but like the costume design on all of them are fantastic. So Michael Wilkinson, costume designer. He did the hit Disney movie Sky High. That's one of his early credits. Okay, 300. He's done like all of Zack Snyder's movies. So Watchmen, Sucker Punch. He did Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, both Justice Leagues. So he is credited on both Justice Leagues, which makes sense. He designed costumes and stuff. Oh,
wow. American Splendor, too.
Tron, yeah. American Hustle also. Tron Legacy. And then my favorite, this is why he's the GOAT right here, are Breaking Dawn Parts 1 and 2. None of the other Twilight movies, just Breaking Dawn Parts 1 and 2. So he like, obviously he did an incredible job on this entire show. The costuming is like as good as Star Wars gets. It's very real. It's very fantastic. Like the glove wall in the first arc, everybody always talks about the glove wall, how cool of a world building bit it is, and like production design and costume design worked on it. Very cool and like extremely fun career this guy's had, including Andor season 1 and 2. So yeah, the I'm not surprised there was a costuming bit because he does seem fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. I'm looking closely at their
as well.
Oh,
like,
sorry.
No, like the set design here, you know, Ferrix is mostly practical. Like if you look at the extras for this show, you can see that they built like a whole ass set for all of Ferrex, and they really make it look lived in. And I just don't know if you see that in other Star Wars shows. I don't know if you see that in other, Disney big budget properties, so it's
most of
really
those Star
refreshing.
Wars shows seem fake. I'm convinced they don't
use the
actually
volume.
exist.
They love using the volume, and I think here there's so little of it.
Well, what I love.
Go ahead, Saul.
What I love that they do on a production level is for so many scenes. It's particularly most utilized in Coruscant, I feel, but it's used everywhere, arguably, is they build out enough that you need in the foreground to make it something that actors can interact with, but then they enhance with CG. And that's such a perfect use of CG to like build out the backgrounds and add more detail, more layering. Because now you're creating something that's real, but it actually can't exist in real life, right? And that's a level of intention that so many of the Disney movies they don't have that level of planning. It's just CG something in later. Like this had to be very methodical.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, this was an incredibly expensive production.
But also to be fair, there's a lot of expensive productions that don't have that level of intention.
Yeah, and
sometimes it's okay to waste money if it's actually not wasting the money and actually looks good.
You can see where the money went for sure.
Andor season 2 is one of the most expensive productions of Disney, and who cares if it looks good? I don't care.
Spend more, Disney.
Spend more money.
It's very. I'm very happy the way they use their money here, for sure. It's just also like addressing that is meaningful to me. like a lot of shows can't do this because they had access to a lot of money, especially like COVID. COVID changed the budget on this thing too, and in a lot of productions, COVID ruined their chance of being good. It's not. There's other reasons, but like. COVID made things a lot more difficult for a lot of other productions, but this got to get the money and support it needed to be good. And so I say, bless you, Kathleen Kennedy. You can do no wrong. You made sure Andor happened. Just kidding. She's evil or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's whatever the internet tells us to believe.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the actual heist. Unless you guys want to talk about
heist.
We can talk about the heist, the people involved in the heist, because we got a nice spread of people, a nice cacophony of conflicting ideologies even.
Yeah, we got our true believer Nemec, the baby boy,
the manifesto
the poet,
writer,
philosopher, the manifesto
poor
writer.
Sweet summer child. He is the tragic figure in all of this.
Yeah, my only big feeling about Nemec, I mean, he's like he's a true revolutionary figure who's also the philosopher, which is like rare in real life. A lot of the time, your philosophers are ones who are in yes, yeah, or they're like even in history. Sometimes they're in a nest, right?
Right.
They're not. They're maybe older than the others. They're maybe guiding things a little bit, but like they're not the young guy recording the manifesto in the highlands of the terrorist heist that's about to happen.
It's shorthand though. You got to combine some archetypes together, because otherwise we've got a crew of 19 people and that's unwieldy.
But it's also interesting because like we have Mon, we have Luthen. You could easily have another guy, right? I think about Ta-Nehisi Coates' Black Panther run, where like the main revolutionary that like influences the run is a teacher. He's like a philosophy teacher in Wakanda. And like you could have done that, but they chose to have him be a true believer in the heart of the resistance. And even like arguably, we don't know if he completed a manifesto. We know he wrote a shit ton. He has chapters, and he passes it along. And that's really cool. Like it's an interesting, like it's again, it's heightened. It's consolidated versus real life, but it's a cool choice. And I mean, it's also like narratively efficient. Right, to have Cassian, who isn't a true believer yet, or maybe he's on the cusp of it, encounter this person in the middle of the actual revolutionary terrorist behavior. Like it's very cool. It's also just like something to unpack It's something that like, okay, this isn't real life.
But in many ways, it also is real life, especially with the infighting elements of it. I think the fact that, you have Cinta being forced to work with someone who was directly involved in the slaughter of her family, what's his name?
Was he directly?
Not
he was
direct-
a stormtrooper.
He was a stormtrooper.
Okay.
No, I thought they revealed that he was part of the. Maybe I'd have to rewatch it because I thought. Okay, anyway, but like the idea that like former stormtroopers are working in this, and like I juxtapose that with the way that The Force Awakens deals with it,
Finn.
right? With Finn, this idea that with Finn there isn't really much of an unease to it, but here you can see and you can feel that unease. This idea that like not only that was Terramin, right, the former stormtrooper. Yeah. And then, oh god, what's his name? The guy who's on the man on the inside. No, the guy on the inside.
Gorm.
Yeah, like these are people that are directly within the system, or were at one point directly within the system, working in tandem with the people trying to dismantle it. It's not treated as like this. Oh, they've had a crisis of conscience, and this is a good thing. It's more of a they still did. It goes back to the whole idea that like everyone here is flawed. Everyone, there's no truly good or righteous or a valorous person here. But yeah, Skeen is, I think.
Oh, cousin.
Cousin.
So happy.
Vel I'll talk about more in the next few arcs, but Skeen, Skeen, man. I think Skeen is so important to
like
Cassian.
A perfect character. It's ridiculous.
He I don't think the rest of the show happens without Cassian coming into contact with Skeen.
Like the way Skeen lies, the way he manipulates everyone around him.
Yeah. He's a broken mirror. He's like Cassian.
Yeah, it's reminiscent.
Oh,
he sees himself.
After the heist, when they're sitting outside and you can see Cassian realize, like what kind of person he's talking to, what kind of future he has in store for him. And it's not like he immediately resolves to be a better person or anything, or to change his ways. It's like fear. He fears what he sees and immediately reacts to it by, of course, dispatching him. But like that confrontation is so key to the way that the rest of the show plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, heist. Let's do heist. Very cool. Very cool. The plan's good. It's very much. It's just it's a heist movie. Once it clicks in, that's 100% what they're doing. The competency is there early on, but like the dread is there too. Yeah, like how's it going to go wrong? Very good job. They did a very good job of playing all that up. I think they stretched it out really well. Again, like the 3 episodes, I get why people maybe think it slows down a bit. But by the time it hits, it's like this thing's rolling. This machine is for making me happy watching Star Wars.
Actually going back to the Donnie people, there's a part where what's his name? A lot of really funny names. J-Hold. J-Hold is talking to the Donnie people, and there's this exchange of goat hides, and he talks about the stench of goat hides, and my immediate reaction is, oh, he's British. Like that is such like a British colonizer thing to do, talking about how smelly the goat hides are. It's not necessarily subtle, but it knows how to slide in those moments. Those like. Again, matter of fact, it's not like we're trying to showcase just how evil or just how, cruel these people are. This is just the reality of things. We don't need to like play it up. Yeah. That part of it was really, really good.
I think
go ahead, Sal.
You both keep alluding to the tension, and the tension is arguably one of the most successful, rewarding narrative devices here, right?
Yeah.
To speak to that, what I love about this whole plot, and I mean plot as in something that people would engage in, not story plot, right? But what I love about this plot is part of you goes, oh, this is supposed to work, and then it answers itself. It's like, well, no one thought to try.
Yeah.
Like I really love that. I love that it's like, oh yeah, this is happening because so many people are scared. So many people consider this impossible, but this is a group that's audacious enough to do it and has committed themselves. Like I always kept thinking about that line of like, you'll know the character name better than me, but the character who says, walk around like you belong here, like blend in, say your lines, you're supposed to be here. And like that belief, like that's almost a magical process. I don't know. It's like, if I believe this hard enough, I can make it real. It's like a magic spell. It's really cool. Yeah,
it's commitment. And I think commitment's a huge thing, or a
in
huge
this
element.
arc especially.
Not even just this arc, but like this season especially, right? Like Cassian is not a committed person for the vast majority of this season. It's this idea of him trying to figure out what it actually means to be committed to something bigger than himself. So, you know, like when we're talking about like the shift, you know, the 12-step radicalization, I think that's the real like moment where things really start pushing themselves forward, or pushing Cassian more towards becoming a radicalized person.
Yeah. And like Nemec pushes those buttons right before the heist too. You know, he confronts him and he's like, I'm struggling to understand why my faith doesn't calm me. He says some bullshit, and then he says, you have nothing, you sleep like a stone. And like this is also a thing where, again, like the competency of Cassian is so apparent. Like he has lived, you know, he has experienced stuff. We don't know exactly what stuff because he's constantly lying to everyone. So like, we're not really sure what he did in the various armed factions he was part of or whatever. But like, he knows how to go to sleep before a heist because he's like done that shit before, you know, like he's been to prison before. He can read prison tats and stuff like that. Like he is a guy who does stuff, and it's like the show is interrogating that sort of stuff, but like at this point especially, or like it doesn't ever really give a reason why he's never committed to being a revolutionary, being a terrorist, you know, like he was born in a communal, or he was raised by Marva in a communal society.
I mean, even on Canary, you know, that is still like a collectivist
something
society.
Is going on there. We don't really understand, like there's not enough to get what's going on there, like why there are no parents. But like,
it's still there though. Like you can still see it within the way that the characters act, and you know, even with it being like young people leading young people, there is that. Well, I think that's an interesting aspect of it. You know, like the idea that young people are more inherently attuned to being collectivist. You know, so I think that's a really interesting aspect. Is just like, Cassian has lived his entire life around collectivist societies, and somehow it lives as a rejection of those upbringings.
Yeah. And well, I mean, he's selfish and he takes advantage of those connections is one of the answers. But also, like, we know he has the reasons for why he should be doing this already. You know, he's been given those reasons. And then being confronted with all of the others' reasons throughout these 3 episodes. Right, he's confronted with Nemec's true belief, his Skeen's lying, reflection, Vel's like choosing this maybe more than anybody else because she has an easier life on her guilty conscience leading to this. Then
Cinta, the actual like commitment
Cinta,
to
the
being
revenge,
the
revenge seeker, Taramund, the guilt, and like it's all this confrontation. That leads to him being like so bitchy this whole arc with everyone, like in everybody's face, and it's so good. Oh man, it just boils so well. And then like we get to the actual heist, and it's crazy because like everybody knows their job, and they're executing well. But I think one of the big notes for me is like they are really they hold back from violence so much as a terrorist group, you know,
until they absolutely need to.
Until
right
it started though, like somebody else starts it. The Empire takes the first shot, you know.
Right.
And I love that touch. I think that also ramped up the intensity of things too. Them being reticent to pull the trigger is definitely a thing that like made everything feel more tense. I also do love that they used the garrison soldiers to move the credits. It's fantastic.
Oh
so
yeah,
good.
That's right.
So good. Move. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, that's really it for that's on my end, at least for the heist stuff. It's really well done. It's like it's a
the heist is really
heist.
cool looking. Go watch it is what I say. Like I'm not going to sit
last
here
few
describe
scenes
like,
especially. Holy crap!
It's very cool. They steal 80 million credits, and then the flying through the eye is phenomenal.
I wanted to mention that because that is a scene that really speaks to Lan mentioning commitment. Like, you know, it's like fly
climb.
up. It's like, what are you talking about? Like that's what you have to do in that scene.
Yeah,
it's great.
No, yeah, that's really cool. That's a good point. There were notes in the production about the sound of the meteorites, which I was like, I didn't even realize that. Right, meteorites are silent. Like you don't really hear them when you're on the ground, but they like that is part of the magic of that's part of the magic of TV, baby. And then the way they designed the Eye of Aldani is actually it's built off of close-ups of a human iris.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So like the lighting and everything like that, they started with a human eye and then edited it from there. And I'm like, duh, of course. Again, like a lot of obvious, like very cool things there. Oh, and then the doctor at the end, the surgeon is a real freak. Oh, he's great. He's so weird looking.
This show doesn't have that many aliens, but every single time they managed to bring in some real fun looking aliens.
Some weird, really cool looking guys.
I like that one of the weirdest aliens we barely see him. It's when, this is much later, but it's when Cassian goes back to his pad on the beach planet. And the chick he was hooking up with is some weird looking alien dude.
Yeah.
Some squid looking guy. Yeah.
That rocks.
That's what's up. All right, the Mon and Luthen stuff.
Actually, I want to lead into that by talking about Coruscant.
Okay.
Because, I barely remember, but we see a lot of Coruscant in other media. The prequels, Clone Wars, right? I really like the commitment to making Coruscant look very Chicago-esque, New Yorky. Yeah. It feels like very Toronto. Corporate. Not really. The brutalism thing didn't really hit as much. If you go to Scarborough, you can actually see quite a bit of the brutalism, but it's not quite brutalist. It feels post-brutalist in many ways. It feels like pre-brutalist. It feels very like 1920s. I think they mentioned in the extras that they were basing a lot of the look of Coruscant on 1920s New York and Fritz Lang's Metropolis, and you can really see that. Like it feels oppressive. It feels
like the heart of the Empire.
Yeah, it really does, right? Like
I think my favorite
it's so gray
that goes with that is Cyril's window. The whole apartment. I like when he first goes down into the hell that is his mom's apartment. I was like, damn, he lives in Bakersfield for real. Like nothing's really accessible. Like everything's far away. He's way out there, and I guess it's really like he lives in the outskirts of Queens or something, right? That's if we're going with the New York, but it just feels so far away. And then her apartment being like his room seemingly has the only window that we see, and it's like, oh, it's so crushing in a fantastic way because he deserves it. But it's just like looking out at this like ridiculous, magnificent city being trapped in this like windowless cage besides your room. Your room is the only place where you get to look out and see the majesty. It's good. It's good. Very, very efficient. Just quick. We're telling you about Cyril's whole life right here.
And in the midst of that, we also have Mon Mothma's house, right? Which is peak gilded cage.
Yeah.
So opulent, so white and gold. You know, the spiderweb design of those separators, like it feels like she's trapped. And I think it really juxtaposes well with the design of the city too, because you have this like gilded room that overlooks this very gray city.
Yeah, the different angles it gets to. I mean, they later episodes they force us to kind of pay attention to the view too, bringing our attention to all that stuff. But in the extras, Genevieve, what is it? O'Reilly. Okay. Perhaps she's seeing the same reflections within the Empire that she's feeling trapped by in her own familiar and cultural customs. That's some good stuff, and also just like playing into her whole environment is designed to look like she's trapped. Even in the Senate stuff, it's always she's dead center in the middle of like a bunch of other floating things and not being listened to in the Senate and stuff like that. Very, very purposefully, thematically driven there.
Yeah.
Her family's amazing. Her husband is awful, and he's like just such a clear picture of like real people, though, like a real awful dude.
When it was revealed that he's got a gambling addiction later in the season, I was like, yeah, baby.
I mean, I love the gambling addiction stuff too, because it's like it's obviously based in truth, but also like it's just so funny. She's you know what, Mon Mothma, you're the lie contender. I know Matt Murdock is putting up some numbers, but we have 4 whole years of Mon Mothma's life to cover that I get to see, and I hope it's like at least a lie a year. You know, a big lie a year.
So I do want to talk about one quote from Gilroy, because in an interview, Gilroy calls Mothma the figurehead of a liberal democracy that will fail. And his key comparison point for like how he crafted her narrative is that he compared her to Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And so like, when you get to the gambling stuff with Perrin,
that's funny.
Like, insider trading?
Yeah. I mean, you know, as the show was coming out, a lot of people were like, "Oh, Hillary Clinton," and it's a little frustrating because Hillary Clinton is a demon,
an incompetent.
And it's unfortunate. It's you know, it's you're not allowed to say that without being a misogynist, but she is evil. And like, I think Pelosi's a better comparison. One, because like Mon Mothma is an effective politician, and Hillary Clinton isn't. But also, like, I can almost imagine Nancy Pelosi giving money to a revolution to overthrow something.
You know, she's got more brief moment energy in July of 2024 when it really seemed like she was
she was moving. She was making things happen. Yeah, exactly. And so that's a really good one. I think in our chat I said AOC to be a little bit nicer to Mon, just because again, like she is moving money around to influence a revolution. And this is definitely season 2 spoiler territory. Not that I know anything, but stuff needs to happen that I know already happens in Star Wars with Mon. Where like the Gorman massacre stuff, or the Gorman crisis is happening in Andor season 1. I think
right, they do mention it. Yeah. Because she talks like, about, what was it, for the dinner, right?
And she talks about it at the Senate, but I think that's like episode 7 that happens in. And like it's effectively like it's stupid Star Wars bullshit. So like I don't want to compare it to anything real life, but like she is trying to do human aid to like groups of people who are incredibly at risk, like entire planets of people who are at risk, entire planets of people who are threatening to be killed en masse, right? And so like that's why it's kind of hard for me to compare her to any Democrat, because she's doing more than any Democrat has done in the last 50 years in the Senate and out of the Senate. But Tony Gilroy also has a very clear political identity in his own right, and like that lives and breathes in this. So like Mon is an incredible character because it's obviously a criticism of very real liberal figures, but she's also kind of like, in comparison to them, she's a great hero of like, she would be one of our heroes essentially if she was real.
I take Gilroy's.
I'm curious to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I take Gilroy's comment there as like she's like different. Mothra is different shades of Nancy Pelosi all at the same time, while also not being Nancy Pelosi. Mm-hmm. She has to have Nancy Pelosi's exterior. She has to have originated from what Nancy Pelosi came from, right? But like you said, Keigen, she's also completely antithetical to any kind of Democrat that exists. You can't compare her to any institutional figure here.
Yeah, I'll give shout outs to, and I've already done it on this podcast plenty of times, but A More Civilized Age, they do an episode by episode. They followed along with Andor season 1 as it was coming out. And like they shifted how they were talking about Mon, about midway through, about at this point, or maybe after episode 7, specifically because they were like, you can't compare her to any Democrat. Like it's not, it doesn't really make sense. Because they kept falling into that of like calling her Hillary and being like, yeah, you're really doing a lot. And it's like she's going to get killed by the mob because she gave Luthen 400,000 credits a year ago. Like, what are we? How is this a comparison, really? You know, like she is funding the revolution. She is funding terrorists. And it's not in like a Iran-Contra way or whatever. Like this is
but I do think that she's still ineffective in a sense. Like, it's clear that she's doing things and she wants to be doing more. But I think the key moment in this arc that really showcases the difference between her and Luthen is at the end. You know, when the news breaks that the Aldhani heist has happened, and the contrast between, you know, Luthen hearing the news, going into the back and laughing and sighing in relief, whereas Mothma is mid-speech when it happens and all the wind gets taken out of her sails mid-speech because people are finding out that the Aldhani heist has happened. It's this idea of like direct action versus platitudes. Yeah. Like in the Senate, so much of what she's doing ends up being platitudes because she is blocked from actually being able to do anything material.
Yeah, in a real way, though, I think this is... Go ahead, Sal.
I do have a comparison from Mon Mothma. I said you can't compare her to any Western Democratic figure, but who you can compare her to are leaders in South America, and I am less familiar with some of the earlier careers of modern South American leaders, but I think a lot about how
Mon Mothma was Lula. Oh my God, she's Lula.
Yes, thank you. Like so many of these leftist South American leaders, they come from very center or left of center backgrounds. Like you could even argue Castro comes from that, right? Mm-hmm. And I only want to say Castro because well, and Cassian is very much our Shay in this equation.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Nemec as Shay too, though. That like the philosopher, poet, revolutionary is he fits that. Right. Even though I think a lot of Shay's actual writing and any theory he actually wrote would have been post First Revolution. But like
Cassian is a reverse Zapata.
Well, Gilroy also says like that Diego Luna looks exactly like Lenin. So like there's a lot of stuff there. He's a revolutionary king.
Well, there's also the whole fact of like Gilroy saying that he based the Aldhani heist off of what was it? The Tiflis
it was
bank
a train
robbery,
heist, right? So, bank robbery.
Yeah.
What was that, Lamb? What robbery is that?
The Tiflis bank robbery that Stalin engaged in way before he became
before he was Stalin.
Before he became Stalin. The
what
Joseph
I also
before
want to
the
know,
Stalin.
What I also want to note about Mon is I think she has a dual political awakening with Cassian across the season. She's not introduced until here, but like I think she similarly grows into her role Season 2 will show her grow into it more. Again, like there's stuff that there's canonical stuff that happens that has already been shown. For that stuff's going to happen. There's no way they can avoid it. So like that's also happening in her arc, as much as it's also about complicated. How are you balancing these things and being a revolutionary? Like she's also having her becoming an extremist moment to some degree. Deidre's the only thing we haven't really touched on. Deidre
boss.
Cool. Girl boss.
She's so evil. Like,
I love her.
Truly evil woman.
No, actually, I think this is the line. I think this is the line of evil women that I love. I don't think I love Deidre. She's really mean to Bix, and that's the girl on girl crime is where I draw the line.
This year is a real test for Keigen's "I love women."
She's not a girl's girl. Okay, that was not cool of you, Deidre. So you're canceled. She is a very I like everything with her and the politicking she does. I love it. Her like constantly trying to get the information on the stolen part. Like she keeps trying to go behind him in different ways. It's so funny. And he's like, "This is mine. This is my place," and then it gets taken away from him. It's fantastic. It's very fun. And her politicking is really good. And her like I like within the actual show, her going like, "I'm more competent than any of these other guys. Like I know I am.
Yeah.
Let me do it." And it's like I like it being direct in that way. I like that she is.
There is still an element of sexual politics to it. Like even though she is purely evil, there is still the idea that, and it's not ham-fisted in a way either. It's not like showcasing. It's show versus tell, right? Like it's not telling us that she is downplayed and looked down upon because she's a woman. It's just that is a factor here. Mm-hmm. And even if she was on the other side of the equation, it would still be the same, which we see later on in the show.
There is a shot of Deidre sitting at the table, and I posted this in the group chat, and I said, "This is incredible. This shot." And I don't remember the first time it appears. I'm sure I missed the first time. And correct me if this originated in another Star Wars media, but I was losing my mind over how these doors, when they open and shut, the doors are the SS symbol. It's so cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
And so to see characters walk through the SS is like so visually striking.
They might have been, or they might not have been. I'm not sure. Like like Lan was saying at the beginning of the episode, it's kind of weird. You expect a lot of things to have already been established in Star Wars and already be referenced in some visual dictionary, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes it is a new thing. But most of the visual stuff in Star Wars was locked in the 80s for the most part. Like,
was this the first time we saw clothes hangers in Star Wars? Because I was losing my mind at that too. Yeah. That was crazy.
There's the mundanity. Yeah.
There's no buttons in Star Wars or something like that. It's there's either no buttons or there's no zippers, which I'm pretty sure there's zippers. There's a lot of weird visual rules in Star Wars.
There's no wheels unless they're like taller than a guy. I know that.
That's a good one. That's so fun. Holy crap.
Only if they're taller than a guy. Okay.
I made up that second part, but that is a quote from Lucas, where like Lucas came in shortly after it had first been bought, and they're like, "Hey, what are these designs?" He's like, "This can't have wheels." Like it's things like that. Like that's the actual quote.
But I feel like there are wheels bigger than a guy at some point. So
no, I added that part. Like there are only wheels bigger than a guy. You never see wheels smaller than a guy.
Yeah. Any other notes about that second arc? We missed anything?
Good stuff.
Very glaring.
Good stuff. Everything, like I said before, everything else that happens in the show is because of what happens here.
I need to get ahead of where we're going. Lan and Keigen were very mean to me in the Discord.
With good reason. Okay, wait, hold on. Before,
is Saw in this arc though?
This is the 7.
Okay, so we'll get into the interstitial. Okay, go ahead, Lan.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So go ahead, Salt.
I said my piece.
You said your piece in the chat.
Fine. No, we're gonna get into it. Okay.
Okay.
Because this is the start of the boring episodes, according to Salt and Bank. Okay. The boring episodes. That's what we're entering. And so this is, to me, this isn't the start of the Narkina 5 arc. This is an interstitial arc to move characters
Are we on
around.
7?
Yes.
Yeah, it was 7.
Oh, 7
Yeah.
rules. It is some of my favorite conversations.
Oh, it's
Oh,
funny
I thought-
because I recall you saying
You
that
said
you could
7
leave
through
7 to
11.
10.
No, 10. 7 to 10.
7 through 10.
I just
you
meant
can
no.
leave
you
on
No,
counted
I
wrong.
said the
background.
Narkina arc.
Okay,
That's what
so
I
you counted
said.
wrong as well.
So, yeah,
You did
okay.
say, you put numbers. You put 7 through 10. But you meant 8 through 10
I meant
inclusive.
8 through 10.
Okay.
Oh, okay, huge difference.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You do 10 minus 7, it's 3. You don't think that 7, but when you go 7 through 10, that's 4
Yeah.
numbers.
Oh, this hurts my brain.
Math is
We're
hard.
doing girl
Math
math
is
here.
hard.
Math is hard. Okay, 7 is, it's an interstitial issue. Oh my God, episode.
Issue. Wow.
Yeah. Well, okay, I was thinking about this. I've said this in other comic things, especially the comic book draft. Patreon.com/midnightgrappleranimals. The 5 issue per year is ideal to me. You get either 3 5-issue arcs in that year, or you could do fun things with interstitials. So you could like 4-1-4-1, something like that. I think the structure of the show is really weird for a TV series, and I almost think you could cut one episode down, get it down to 11, or you could add more, get it to 15, and it would be you could do a little bit more. That's why I'm also thinking about issues, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, interstitial episode, moving people around. The Cassian stuff here is fantastic. Maybe Luna's best acting in the whole series so far.
The way
it's
such a good, not just Luna, but Fiona Shaw as Marva too. Holy crap.
Yeah, but like every single encounter he has, he gets like, he's changed. That especially the confrontation with Skeen at the end of the last episode, like fundamentally made him different. And yeah, his interaction, especially the Marva scene, is so good. Because it also, like, as much we were talking about her being an aged revolutionary, and like in particular, the thing about her is like she feels like somebody who hasn't gotten to do as much as she wants to do.
And is reaching the end of her life knowing that. I think that's the real tragedy of it, is that by this point, Cassian might not have realized it. And even on first watch, you might not have realized it. But like, it's very clear that Marva knows that she's on death's door.
Yeah, she's getting worse too. Like
Yeah.
she's significantly worse this time. He's seeing
Like
her.
she knows that there's no reason for her to escape with Cassian because her time has come.
Yeah.
And I think that's the real tragedy of it, and that's the real tragedy of her conversation with Cassian. That's why she says, I've never loved anything more than I've loved you. It's harrowing and just really just a gut wrenching watch, especially on rewatch. This idea that like she has lived a life fulfilling, that's up for debate, and that's really not up for debate with us. That's up for debate in her own mind. And yeah, just it's tragic. She's a tragic figure for sure. I think even despite whatever flaws that we can come up with, at the end of the day, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, this scene sells their relationship so well too. The concept of like he truly, that's his mom, and I eat adoption stories like this up. Like that's his mom, that's her. And so this is really, I think this is the scene where it really sells that stuff, that like from Luna talking behind the scenes of like, she is a person who gave up her life to raise him, to give him what he needed to, try to make him into like a person that he could love and be. And yeah, this again, like I think it's Luna just really showing up for the role. And fantastic scene. One of my favorite scenes in the show for sure. Especially her being like, it's fine that you're not a revolutionary. Like, it's okay. It's okay. This isn't your fight. Oh, it's so sad. Because it's like, you got to tell your mom you just stole $80 million from the Empire. Like, you don't want her to know that. You're also like encountering how like gossip moves around the town right now anyway. So like,
But also, this is him
so good.
post being sold out by Tim, right? So he knows that he can't actually be making moves like that.
Yeah.
You know another character we gotta
cheese
talk about? My guy Perrin.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it. He's
the exchange between him and Marva is so good. The fact that it's bookended with this line that goes like, I think you'll find my politics are a bit extreme for your taste. Oh, great. Oh. Great.
Yeah. We get some really good serial stuff here. You know, this is when he really gets into the weeds of being another cog within a bigger machine. I like the nepotism aspect of it. You know, the fact that he only got the job.
His uncle.
Because of his uncle.
Your uncle will be... You need to impress him. You need to impress them for your uncle.
Also, we got to talk about his mom. His mom she's such a mom.
One of the voices of all time as well. Just like, the presence. She's a tiny woman. She's a tiny woman too. Oh my goodness. Your caller like stupid, like you're pouring him
no hesitation
cereal,
no hesitation whatsoever.
Mr. Cereal Corn over here too, like what the
cereal
hell?
Corn.
He's always eating
corn.
cereal. Oh shit, yeah, it's a Scarif type situation, isn't it?
Yeah,
we've talked before on this pod about like show versus tell. But you know, this scene really unlocked a new dynamic for me, which is show well versus show poorly. And I heard someone mention The Suicide Squad recently, and it really got me thinking about like how stupid that movie portrayed a guy with mommy issues. So the polka dot man's mom issues in that is show poorly, and the mom issues here are show well. Like it's such a good portrait of like a guy with mom issues and how those haunt him all the time.
It's not even just that, but it's also the idea of recontextualizing his behavior from the first 3 episodes once you actually meet her.
Right.
Like you meet her and then your immediate thought is, oh, so that's why he's the way he is.
Exactly.
Yeah, he has a competency kink because of his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good as hell though. The collar stuff is so funny. I'll see it. There's a screenshot I saw like yesterday actually. What is my collar supposed to say, mother? It's so good. Oh, yeah, they're terrible and I love them. Yeah, I could watch a show about her being a little gossipy lady.
Yeah. And then Cassian goes to Miami.
Yeah. Space Miami. Yep.
Such a cool scene. I love the music in that scene.
There's also I bolded, underlined, and italicized the Luthen and Mon conversation early in the episode too.
Yes.
Mon's people will suffer. Luthen's response: "That's the plan."
Yeah, like it's not that Luthen is undercutting Mon, but he has his ways, and he is so firm in his belief that it's not conducive to Mon and her ways.
Yeah, there's a thing of intuiting, right? He just knows it's time, right? He's like, we need them to overreact. We need this it needs to start going, or we're all gonna die. Like it's all gonna be over if we don't do some terrorist stuff. If we don't start killing people.
He's also completely fine with letting people go. You know?
Which we'll see in the best episode of the season, episode 10. We'll see. But yeah, I know Cass gets to Miami.
Space Miami, it's the perfect place to really get
a beach. The worst beach I've seen in my entire
life. Real beach, by the way. Real beach.
Horrible beach.
Nothing. Very little of that beach was actually like CG'd.
That's so depressing.
It's based off a real beach in the UK. I forget what it's called.
Good. You know what? They deserve it. They deserve that beach.
Hold on. I'm gonna find what it's called. I think it's like Cleveland's or something.
It's very fitting that Space Miami is crawling with ice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cleveland's. That was right. It's
really good shot. So it's so true. It's so true.
Well, they really go hard on the fascism stuff here, you know, with the post Aldani stuff, especially like the first move we see from the ISB is putting tariffs on the entire sector as blowback for the heist. And I saw that and I'm like, man, this entire thing kind of feels way too real. Just a bit too real.
It's also like, it's annoying because reality is cartoonish now, you know, because it's like this is so on the nose and cartoonish, but also
this should be exaggerated.
But you know,
dude got sent to El Salvador, who was a legal American citizen. Not even he was born here. Like that's happening right now. It's awful. Yeah.
But you know, I will say one thing though. I don't feel nearly as annoyed about the one-to-one-ness of it all happening here as I do with something like The Boys.
Yeah.
Like
and I mean,
here I see it happen and I'm like, okay, yes, this is very realistic, but yeah, it makes sense. Whereas with The Boys, I don't know, every time I see these like 1-to-1 or 1-to-1.1 or whatever translations, I'm just so annoyed by it.
I think this is something.
Tune in for Boys season 5, where we
pay us, and we'll do that. Salt talks about this with Daredevil. Like superhero comics just can't tackle some subjects. And I'm not saying superhero comics couldn't tackle this subject. I think they can. It's related enough to fascism. But like, I think The Boys does that very frequently, where it's just like, it's not a genre that can do that. But whereas Star Wars is like dialed into anti-fascist stuff, period. Even if you can read it differently, which you can, even this show, you can still read from a right-wing perspective. Actually, I think Cyril is like a really important keystone to that, because like I can very easily imagine alt-right people saying that Cyril is a liberal little cuck boy. Like it's absolutely a reading that exists. And so, but even still, like, this sort of political thing is part of the blood of Star Wars. And so like, it's easy to imagine stormtroopers arresting people for being brown. Like that it just makes sense.
Yeah. Fun fact, one of the shore troopers is voiced by Sam Witwer.
Boo.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's on site though. He could probably kick my ass though.
Yeah.
I think he can do flips. Oh wait, no. Wrong person.
No,
I was thinking of the real Darth Maul, Ray Parker.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ray Park.
I probably
definitely kick your ass.
Okay. Yeah,
Sam Witwer, I'm not so sure.
Sam Witwer has been in a lot of Star Wars stuff. Salt. He's been like 3 different characters. 2.
He showed up
Force Unleashed and Darth Maul.
He was Star Killer in that game.
He's annoying about the last
He's no
Jedi.
Freddie Prinze Jr. I'll say
He's no
that
Freddie
much.
Prinze Jr.
He
He's no
does look like
Freddie
we have
Prinze
Freddie
Jr.
Prinze Jr. at home.
It's
a good. Yeah, it's a good. It's a good note for him. All right, let's get into it. Let's do some leftist infighting, shall we?
I'm stretching. Salt's gonna flip kick me or something. It's gonna be crazy. So all right, we're in the Narcana 5 arc, the prison arc.
Narcana 5.
Yep. What is it?
Man.
What is it?
I just had number dyslexia for a second. Carry on.
Oh, I thought you had a joke.
I thought you had a crisis of conscience, and you finally realized. I was like, wait a second,
this is peak. Yeah. So Cassian goes to a labor camp, basically. That's what happens. Well, if we could do the specifics, he does that, and then he plans a mass breakout for everybody. That's Andor's half. That's Cassian's half of the story, basically. Deidre really gets moving on her side, actually. Like she starts linking up everything. They figure out that the rebels are using the way the Empire, their organization is set up. They realize that everybody's sliver has been stolen from. And they connected that way by going like, oh, actually, they are targeting us that way, and things are being stolen. Luthen's bit is basically figuring that out, and also hunting out Andor because he wants to kill him.
And also dealing with Saw in the midst of it all.
Yeah, that scene's incredible. So we'll definitely do that. And yeah, he's dealing with the leftists and fighting, basically. And then Mon getting herself in with the mob, basically.
Basically,
is more or less that's did I miss anybody? Vel actually gets to do stuff.
Well,
hangs
actually,
out.
that's the part we didn't mention. Believe it's in episode 7 where
Did she
we
show
see-
up in episode 7?
I believe so.
She's Mon's cousin. Spoiler
Mon's
alert,
cousin.
everybody.
Yeah.
Go watch the show. Vel is Mon's cousin, and she's really rich, apparently.
And I think that's the really fascinating dynamic here is this idea that like both of these characters come from a place of privilege, but the different paths they've taken, you know, especially with Vel.
We got to be clear with Mon, though, also. She was like, I mean, the way Star Wars politics work is like there are political castes, basically, and like you
Castes,
have
you say?
access.
Married at 15, you say? Becoming a senator at 16, you say?
Yes.
Mon Mothma
like,
is Indian?
That's complicated, is what I'm trying to
Like
say.
it was so funny because I didn't have this realization the first time I watched the show, but then when I heard married at 15, becoming a senator at 16, that's when I was like, oh, it finally clicked for me. Okay, Mon Mothma's Indian.
Yeah, she just just top to bottom. I mean, and it's like
Everyone's saying that she's Nancy Pelosi or Hillary Clinton. Nah, she's Indira Gandhi.
let's go.
She's the cool Kamala Harris.
Oh,
The anti-Kamala Harris.
She's
Yeah.
Kamala Harris.
She wasn't
if
a
she
cop
actually
first.
paid more attention to her parents.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, damn. She's dark woke Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
That's as dark woke as you could get is Mon, you know. That is still opposite. But yeah, I mean, like all that stuff absolutely forms why she believes in democracy on some level, right? Because like this was a thing that I think even Gilroy has touched on this in interviews. Like the rebellion is ultimately a liberal revolution. Like all they actually accomplish is getting rid of the empire.
Yeah.
Like they don't. Communism doesn't happen. Socialism doesn't happen. They don't eliminate capital in that way. Like it ends once the republic is reestablished. And like Mon's a big part of that being real, right? Mon and all the originators of the thing were senators within Star Wars. So like they have an interest, they have a belief in that system. And so like, but it is really funny to see Vel cruise in and be like the show does this thing where Vel and Cinta have a conversation, and Cinta's like, you got to be real. Like you need to be here for real. You need to be a real revolutionary.
You need to lock in and be a revolutionary.
And she's like, damn. And then
The way
Vel
that
goes to
plays
Mon
into
and
their
is like,
relationship. Oh my god.
and then Vel shows up at Mon's door and she's like, you need to lock in, Mon. It's like, Vel, your brown girlfriend is telling you what to do. Okay, I need.
My favorite thing is this is also like minutes after Clea Markey also like several floors down meets with Vel and Vel or Clea tells Vel you need to lock in. So like it's not just Cinta that's telling Vel to lock in, it's everyone telling Vel to lock in, and then she has the audacity to go to Mon Mothma and be like, you need to lock in.
Yeah, she's really just passing it along, like. Oh.
Yeah. Let's see other things about I said Perrin is Gavin What's-His-Face from the Proud Boys. That was another note I had about the Coruscant side of things. There's a lot of good cultural things going on with Mon's side of things, because it's not just the stuff with the Empire here, but it's also the where's she from again? Starts with the C, I think.
Calcutta.
Wait, who?
Nah, yes, Calcutta. Space Calcutta. You know, it's the space, the idea of Space Calcutta and those traditions also coming into play within her family, because, her daughter, White Katara, as I initially called her,
Yes.
falling into it's a counterculture kind of thing that we do see in.
Well, it's like trad. It's trad Cath.
Trad
immediately.
But in this
right?
case, if you really think about it, Mon Mothma's daughter is kind of like Kamala Harris, right? Where she didn't really follow the path of her more.
See, but her dad is.
Yeah, her dad is a Proud
way.
Boy, and that's probably part of the reason why.
Yeah. What we're seeing is JD Vance and one of his daughters is what we're seeing on screen.
Yeah. Does this also this implies that JD Vance is secretly
I didn't think about the Indian part, but oh no. You know what? I think the funny thing is JD Vance does watch Andor for sure because he's a stupid Star Wars nerd. So
yeah, true.
Hopefully he feels bad about himself. Hopefully he sees some parent in himself and he's proud about it.
I hope he watches Daredevil Born Again and sees what a twerp he is in that show.
Let's see other things about Mon Mothma. Oh, there's a part where later on she's against the idea of political marriages and arranged political marriages, and I said, oh, so she's against political arranged marriages, so she's the modern day Indian. Like, there is a caste element here that we brought up a couple times. It's true. Like, that is a key element here, and also in the real world of India. That I think plays into a fascinating part of the caste dynamics and the what's it called, the class dynamics of not only Mon Mothma but also Vel. You know, this idea that you could get a read of Vel and Cinta's relationship as like an intercaste relationship. Yeah, a lot of moving parts there in that regard.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, her stuff is mostly like, I mean, it's all the money. It's all the money stuff. Her being worried about getting audited and being seen.
Shout
that
out
she's
to
been
her
giving money to
ex-boyfriend,
terrorists.
though. Her ex-boyfriend, Takeholma. That's a goat right there, you know?
Oh, that's who I was talking about before. The politics you stream. I accidentally called him Perrin. Take Holma is who I was referencing earlier. He's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, he's
Holma.
great. Really good acting too.
Mm-hmm.
He like the chemistry they have. Like it's interesting because, you know, being in the D hole for so long with Daredevil. Charlie Cox's chemistry with people is like he's going to them. Like that's kind of the energy he brings with like every woman in any of those seasons. And theirs is so rich though.
Yeah.
Mon and I immediately forgot his name. Whatever. Bank
Takeholma.
There we go.
There's also
You know
a
what? I'd rather not
sexlessness
retain
to
it.
the relationship between Perrin and Mon.
Yeah.
That you can immediately feel regained every time she talks to Tay.
Yeah.
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 Good stuff.
Let's do the prison stuff because this is obviously what Salt doesn't like.
Okay, actually, on that note, was it the prison stuff, or
Yeah, what
was
was
it
it
all
actually?
of the? Because, you know, it could be that the prison stuff was actually really interesting to you, but it was actually all the stuff around the prison stuff. So, Salt, I want to hear what. You can't see me, you know, slapping the bat against my hand here, but what
It's
what went
flat.
wrong?
It's flat. It has holes in it. Len uses it for weird stuff.
I use it for witness tampering.
Oh, that's what you call it.
Yeah, that's Pornography episode 5 out now
Midnight-
on Midnight Grappler Animals.
Patreon.com/Midnight Grappler Animals. $5 a month. $5.
Okay, Salt, make your case.
Yes. Come
I
on.
said it was a dip in quality. And,
Okay.
and you guys interpreted this as me saying it was bad.
Well, I mean, even a dip in
fine.
quality is still kind of crazy, you know?
What's the dip in
Well,
quality? What is it though?
So I noticed around when episode 9 was almost done, I realized I had taken almost no notes. And that doesn't always indicate like my enjoyment. Like I took no notes at the end of the heist just because it was so crazy and I couldn't like pause. But I had nothing that really stood out to me in the same sense anymore. There was a lot of production stuff I thought was really cool, but like one of the, you know, we've returned to a lot of the themes of this show, and one of the greatest themes is infighting, and I found that. I found that unexplored in this arc. You know, granted, you have skepticism from Andy Serkis, right? But there it seemed like every one of the prisoners fell in line. Like, yeah, let's do a rebellion. Like, let's go for it.
Well,
And
I think that's the difference, though, is that these are all trapped people. These are all, people that are looking like. In the case of the Aldani heist, of course, there's going to be infighting because these are all like leftist or left-leaning revolutionaries, we'll say. But here, it's much more intersectional. These are people that are in here for a variety of reasons. These are not people that all are united in their mode of, political thinking. We can have people that are even pro-empire in the midst of this, but at the end of the day, that's not what matters to them. What matters is actually getting out. So they're of course going to be united in that sense.
They're
sure, but
pro-escape.
it's not the politics of that I have an issue with. It's how that would affect survival. Like, I needed more from this arc of characters expressing skepticism for doing this. That's not political. It's like, hey, we could die.
Like, I don't want to die. Right.
Yeah. It seems like everyone fell in line rather quick for that.
So I think my counter to that is that, and they don't have proof of this, but they have enough to believe, I think, that like a whole floor of people died. Like, they killed 100 people.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they were going to die either way. And I think they were pretty convinced of that. Is probably.
It's the idea of having nothing to lose. And I think that's another element for Andor especially, is like, what does it mean to be someone who has nothing to lose? Or someone who has everything to lose in that case.
That's really good.
Right? So I think the other floor getting massacred, I think, is the key element to unlocking that.
On that note, that was a show don't tell issue for me, and I have one other show don't tell issue towards the very end of this show. But it was a real missed opportunity to not show anything related to that. Like, this show has played the type of narrative device before that we can see things that the characters don't know. So to me, there's no good reason to skip over that. I don't need to see the massacre. I can see the aftermath. There's got to be something there for me.
Especially
my counter to that is the idea that it's not the fact that it happened. It's the fact that they believe it happened.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right?
Yeah.
Because everything that happens in episode 9 and 10 onwards is them running with this newly presented fact to them that a massacre has happened on the second floor. And I think showing that adds a certainty to it happening that, I don't know, like I do like the uncertainty to them being committed. Again, it goes back to the whole commitment thing, like they commit themselves to this idea of actually escaping based on the fact of something that they never witnessed themselves. And I think
hear that.
I think by not showing it to us as well, like it also puts us in that position. Like it keeps us down low and with the characters. We're learning things as the characters learn them. We're not seeing things like the situational irony isn't there for the most part here.
I can see that being done well in the hands of a deft writer. I could see that happening more likely if there had been some kind of aftermath for that. If there had been something with like a character speaking to Andor or someone else later, like, what are you talking about? That there was no floor that got eliminated, right? Like the fact that's not addressed. There were a lot of like weird loose thread things going on here. There was one shot in particular towards the end of the rebellion where you see all the guards huddled up with the guns. And that was so weird to me. Like, I get that they're showing that the guards are finally threatened, but like it felt like a setup for a thing that they didn't know what to do with.
Oh, I thought that was more. I mean, that goes into the like fascists are cowards stuff, right? Like ultimately, at the like the show speaks on power and the way that fascists wield power and the way that they're not actually powerful. They're just projecting it in order to control. And once we choose to actually do something, they don't hold much of a fight, right? Like that's part of Marva's final speech in the last episode.
You get a funny bit with the guy with the voice, like what's it called, the overseer, and the reveal that he's actually like a really scrawny, squirrely voiced guy.
Yeah, that's fun.
I gotta come clean here. This is where I drop my cards. I was wondering like why I wasn't enjoying these episodes as much as earlier, and so I started like poking around, and this is when I first realized that different arcs had been written by different people. And so I started looking into Bo Willimon, the writer of this, and that guy's a dum-dum. Like, I can't respect his writing. He's kind of stupid.
What? Oh, now I gotta look this up. Bo
Willems?
Bo Willimon.
Wait, he's written for Severance? Oh, he wrote The Ides of March. House of Cards, too.
Oh,
He
yeah.
also worked on
brought
Howard
over-
Dean and Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign.
He got brought over by Gilroy. I think he's actually writing part of the season 2, actually.
Is he?
Great.
He doesn't say anything
Great.
about that on his IMDb.
Maybe not. Or no,
Oh, he did,
he's bringing.
he did
Sorry,
write for...
it's
oh, no, he's
it's-
an executive producer on Severance. Never mind.
I think it's actually the director of these episodes is getting brought over, not the writer.
Toby Haynes. Well, that's good, because
Yeah.
Toby Haynes is
Yeah.
actually really good.
That's really funny, Salt. And I'm pro beef for any reason. I'm pro hater for
Hell
whatever
yeah.
reason you want to have. So that's fine.
I
with
just
me.
think he's
I will
dumb.
say, so Salt was, casually critical of this arc. And so that made me go, okay, how could I possibly contrive this into being bad? Right? What could I do? And I did it. And I don't
go.
dislike the arc. I do think, and it's not anything to do with style or like ability to tell a story. It's none of that. I am a prison abolitionist. My mom went to prison. I have a lot of feelings about prisons. Prisons are very bad for profit. Prisons are very bad. They shouldn't exist, etc. This is not an arc about prison in any way. This is an arc about a bad job. This is an arc about a hard labor and feeling trapped in the system of capitalism. And the extras see that out. This really isn't a story about even like an unjust imprisonment. It's not. Like, it's fundamentally about Kino, who believes if you work enough, eventually you can escape, and that's just a job. That's just any job. And like, that's a fine metaphor. You don't really need prison to do it. You kind of do, because you need to find a way to trap Cassian in it, but it is kind of contrived in that way. So I don't dislike it. The metaphor itself is cool. Like the
prison is mental in nature.
Exactly. That's fine. And I understand that as a criticism of capitalism, but again, like, I want more anti-prison stuff. And like, this just isn't really that. Like, that's not its goal. It's not its intent. It really is about like, feeling, it's the prison in the mind. It's feeling trapped in something that you can't imagine escaping out of without just going through it. And in that way, I do think Kino is an incredible character. I am of the mind, like, this is a great show. I think Andy Serkis should have had an Emmy nomination for the role in this, best guest star. Like, I absolutely thought that could have happened that year. His speech at the end of One Way Out is I mean, it's not like incredible orating either. It's just like, it's just good. It's well delivered. He's an incredible like actor, and obviously he's a great voice actor too. So like, that hitting at the end of that episode, and the One Way Out, like One Way Out as a line, like, gives me chills when I hear it. I love it. It's really, really good. Like, and that's episode 10 in its own, like, as much as maybe I think the prison escape is maybe a little contrived too. That was another thing that I was like, okay, Salt doesn't like this. Well, they did all kind of go along with it. They suddenly like planned it around in like a couple days. That's kind of crazy. But like,
we think
so
it's a couple
cool.
days, but you never know how long it actually takes, because that first episode especially, it takes place over quite a few months. So
yeah,
who
well, we
knows?
get a 30-day. I actually looked this up. Of
course.
Because when the show came out, there was a quote from Gilroy that people took it to mean the season takes place across a year, 1 year of time.
Right.
And that's just impossible. It's not possible. And people since then have been like, that was somebody misreading something. Because like, yes, they're messing with the amounts of times for sure. Like we can say the Empire's doing that, but we know about 40 days passed in the prison at least. Maybe there's a little, you could maybe add another 10 days, but I don't think it's realistic to go past like another 10 days, especially because we're seeing what's happening on the other side of the everything, right? With Daedra, with Luthen, with and like more than that doesn't really pass. Like it's not 3 months that he's in there for sure. Maybe 2 months you could push it. So like sure there was planning, but even like the filing through the water pipe, right? Andor's doing that in episode 2, and then he's finishing it in episode 3 of the arc. So like it's not a lot more time than the 30-day jump.
Yeah.
It's some more, but it's not like it's not doubling that.
Yeah.
So
I can see
anyway,
the case. Yeah.
the planning comes together, and it's fine. I can ignore that. Especially because I think like episode 10 really the finale's really good. The finale's really, really good. But like we get Kino's speech, we get One Way Out, and then we get the banger monologue from Luthen from Skarsgård.
Oh, yes.
Just the absolute goat. We find out that
Salt, I get your beef with Bo Willimon, but he really did pop off with that speech.
It's crazy. I'm sorry that
which
he's a
Luthen
dumb
speech
dumb.
is this?
What did you sacrifice? Calm, kindness, kinship, love. I've given up all chance of
Oh,
interview.
when he's
my
talking
mind
to
a
the
sunless
mole.
place.
I share my dreams with ghosts. I wake up every day to an equation I wrote 15 years ago for which there's only one conclusion. I'm damned for what I do. My anger, my ego, my unwillingness to heal, my eagerness to fight. They've set me on a path from which there is no escape. I yearn to be a savior again, say injustice without contemplating the cost, and by the time I look down, there's no longer any ground beneath my feet. What is my sacrifice? I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. I burn my decency for someone else's future. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see. The ego that started this fight will never have a mirror, an audience, or the light of gratitude. So what do I sacrifice? Everything. So good.
That was pretty good. Yeah, there's
so
a few
good.
minutes in the 130 minutes or so that make up these 3 episodes. I think that was like close to the level of quality. I was
Salt's like, I can
expecting.
acquiesce.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that's like a very narrow margin for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Like 10 just has so many bangers. Even the escape, Cassian and Andor running along the
Cassian
moonlit.
and Andor?
Sorry, Melshi and Cassian.
Melshi. Shout out Melshi, by the way.
Melshi's in Rogue One. Salt, in case you don't remember, he's just a random dude in a helmet. But he's number 1 in my heart. Okay, that's Melshi.
He will be something much more.
This
show-
This show is so good on a production level. Like you could do a whole podcast just about the production, like all the visual choices they're making, and like that did keep me tapped in for this arc, right? Like there are so like that shot of them all diving into the water, the way they compose that,
the way
away.
it
really
zooms
cool.
out. Oh,
Yeah,
I can't
so
swim.
good.
Oh, Kino. Actually, that's really good thematically. Like he led a revolution that he won't see anything for it. You know, very Luthen coded.
Yeah, exactly. It mirrors with Luthen's whole speech very well.
God, that speech, so good. People lose their
right.
mind for it, and I roll my eyes a little bit, and then I'm like, you know what? It's good.
You know, it's like when people complain about Breath of the Wild. You know, people are like, "Oh, this game's overrated. Everything's so bad." And you know, I start to find
say
myself wondering. Of course, you do.
Then you turn it on and you go like, oh, I lit a log on fire and I kicked it down a hill and I killed a whole village.
Yeah,
What?
you know, and you actually experience it, and you're like, no, it actually is worth the hype. Like it,
Yeah.
haters be damned. You know, this shit really do be that good. Yeah, that's what the Narkita 5 arc is to me. Like I can see why people have their feelings about it, but at the same time, every single time I watch it, I'm like, hell yeah, boys, hell yeah.
Yeah, I think I like Aldani more.
Of course, yeah.
It's a little simpler.
we
is
can
what
all
I'll say.
agree. It's not the best arc. We're all unified there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's wrap it up with this finale 2-parter. Unless you guys have anything, I think we're good. I
I have a good segue here.
Okay, beautiful.
So I was criticizing some show don't tell, and there's a show don't tell problem that I feel even more strongly about in the 2-part finale. Let me preface by saying I love this 2-part finale. I think every other choice they make is perfect, but this one choice was kind of annoying, and it's the talk between Saw and Luthen.
The second, which we kind of skipped the first one. But
yeah, we skipped the first one, but they have this confrontation, and we get a reveal from Luthen that he's been surveilling Saw, that he's got a man on the inside, because of course he does, right? Like that's great. Like that's ramps up some tension in the scene. But the debate they're having is whether they're going to sacrifice a rebel leader and his crew.
Anto Krieger, yeah.
Anto Krieger.
This didn't work for me. This kind of fell flat, and I realized it was because I had only seen this one hologram CG shot of Krieger over and over and over. We had so many people who had backstories we got to spend time with. I think this show easily had the capacity to make Anto a real guy. I could have at least spent one scene with him. Them sacrificing him would have meant so much more. But the fact that he's the CG rando, it just there's no impact for me.
Yeah.
I think for me, like my thing with it is that I don't really care to see him.
Exactly.
Like I mean that in the sense that we don't need to see him. Like we don't. In this case, Anto Krieger is just a piece of the equation. He's a number, you know. And I think this show does, you know, this show deals with this idea of like people versus numbers quite often. And you know, in this case, Anto Krieger is just the number. You know, like there's nothing really more to say. You know, he is something. He is what's it called? A scapegoat in some regard. So I don't know, like I can see the case being made for wanting to see him, but I'm pretty firm on the idea that we didn't really need to actually like see him, because
he doesn't matter. I agree with that, but the point of this scene is to show that there is a certain callousness on the part of Luthen, and that Saw can be swayed to agree with that callous approach. And it doesn't have an impact if Krieger's not a real guy. If he's a hypothetical guy, I'm like, yeah,
I think
you don't.
The other thing is, it also presupposes that we know what kind of person Saw Gerrera is. Like if we think about like
tough,
what kind of, if you think about what kind of character Saw Gerrera was in Rogue One, maybe he's not there yet. But even in what was it, the Clone Wars, right?
Rebels and Clone Wars, yeah.
Rebels and Clone Wars, like. That is a different person. Like that's the kind of person I would expect to be swayed. Even it's not really even being swayed. It's more like a crisis of consciousness for his own operations. You know.
I mean, I don't know. I think one, Saul has been handled at least slightly differently in all three of the different by all three of the different pieces of the franchise that he's been handled by. So I think it's easy to draw a timeline for him. It's hard to ascribe character traits because also his history as a character goes back like 20 years before this point ish, 17 years before this point. So like there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff with Saul that I would like to force everybody to watch a little bit of it for Rogue One.
You ask a lot.
For Rogue One. Hey, it's Saul. Anyway. But to go back to more about Krieger with Saul, I think where I agree is that the effect ends up being that, of course, we agree with Luthen. I don't care about Krieger, right? Of course, Luthen made the right call because I don't know Krieger. He could die for the good of
and also
Luthen.
He's got the whole view of the situation. He's got his man on the inside, you know.
Right, but like. You could make those feelings more complicated, and this is a show that's very good at making me feel complicated about a lot of people, and I do not have any feelings of complication about Krieger. So, like in that way, again, like I said, you can either eliminate an episode of the series. Probably you're probably mixing in 7 and 8 into one episode more. Is probably what you do. Make it 11, make it a little bit more efficient, or you turn it up to 15. Now we get a Krieger arc, basically. And like ultimately that's probably more effective in looking more in making Krieger look like a character that matters the same way everybody else does. But like as far as the Saw stuff goes, I really do think his 2 scenes, you can build everything you need to know from him and like understand his strong stances. And I also think it coheres with everything else like reasonably, at least. Like he is the, as far as you can go, true believer. Now, no show has given him real politics, right? Luthen, I think, calls him an anarchist. Maybe Mon calls him an anarchist. But like, he's not an anarchist in politics, like politically. I don't think really. We don't know. Is he a Marxist? Is he a Star Wars Marxist? Who knows? And like, that's kind of the tough thing with Saw. I think he's not fleshed out enough for us to really know what he's doing other than blowing up the Empire. And that's also why this scene is kind of so because it's like, I don't know how to feel about him being convinced or not. I just think it's fun that I love the conversation. I do. Luthen showing up and being like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He's like, "I'm gonna go help Krieger." It's like, damn it.
And him having to like seize control of the situation to like bring it back into his favor.
And like, be real with him, Luthen he fell down the Year of the Lie ranking boards with this episode. He shows him his cards, which also shows like Saw as a valuable asset to this revolution.
Yeah. So I'm really interested to see where Saw is heading in season 2, especially.
Yeah. See how he gets his breathing apparatus installed. That's gonna happen.
Yeah, my favorite part of that whole scene or like set of scenes is Luthen going, "Aren't you tired of fighting with people who agree with you?"
Yeah,
it's so good. Yeah, let's do 11 and 12. Marva dying off screen, that hits like a truck because you don't really know what's going on until you get like a few seconds, like I want to say like 10 seconds into the scene. That's when you realize that, oh shit, Marva's dead. Marva's been dead for some time. Which I'm glad, like we talk a lot about the show versus tell of it. I'm glad that we didn't see her die on screen. I think it just wouldn't have made sense because there's no one who could have been next to her that would have made for like an interesting death scene either.
That's sad.
Cassian's not there. It doesn't hit as much with Brasso. Bix is being tortured, right?
Yeah. Did she get
throughout the Narkina 5?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh. Which also, actually, quickly on that note, Dr. Gorse is an actual psychopath. Weaponizing the screams of an indigenous species dying out as a torture device.
Yeah.
Actual psychopath. That's some Goebbels shit. Not Goebbels. What was his name? Unit 731 shit. How about that? We'll go across the sea.
Do you guys want some dumb Star Wars bullshit that goes along with that?
No.
Sure.
Okay. We don't have to. It's a split vote. If Serg was here, then we could have had consensus.
So but really, this is all Serg's fault.
This is Serg's fault. Maybe in another B-side, you guys could ask me about the Star Wars bullshit.
Oh well, tomorrow's B-side.
Okay, there we go. It's so sad. The torture. The description of what it is too is so good. And I obviously like. There's fun stuff of them not playing any sound and just showing her react to it.
Show don't hear. Let's go.
It's cool. It's really cool. Poor Bix. Poor baby girl. Oh, she needs to be saved. Go save her.
It's Cass. More. It's just more of indigeneity versus the Empire.
So yeah, she's captured. Marva dies. Brasso is kind of the guy in charge of all that stuff, and all the scenes with B2 are so sad. Oh. B2 wanting to stay at the house,
like a dog after its owner
with like
passes
a
away.
brain, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
like if you put a talking, the color from Up. If you put that collar onto
very Doug. You're right. He's very Doug-like.
Yeah.
I can't leave you here alone. She wouldn't want that. You could stay. Which, okay, I'm a robots rights activist when it comes to Star Wars. Okay, this is his house, Brasso. This is B2's house. This is where his charger's at. Like, you could leave him alone. You could treat him like an adult. Also, Brasso's too good to do that though, so he stayed there for one night. It was very nice.
I liked Andor listening to Nemec's manifesto. I think that was a
like this
is very clear as to like where he's at now.
Yeah,
you know, first going from being hesitant to even take the manifesto with him to like listening to it after having escaped.
Yeah,
and gotten
which
his stuff
like
back.
We only get a small part of the manifesto, right? It's not even. There's no chapter heading even. So this is the middle of the chapter.
This is a guy writing a leftist writing a manifesto. You know that shit was like 600 pages long.
At
minimum.
30,000 word chapters is what was happening there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's super good. Was there anything in episode 11 actually?
Oh yeah, come on, Luthen versus the Port Authority.
Yeah, people are really stupid about that scene. People think he's a Jedi because of this scene.
He's just tricked out. You know, pimp my what's it called?
It's a James Bond. It's a
the Aston Martin, the Fondor.
Yeah. It's sick.
Yeah. I love
that's one of my favorite scenes.
I love the part where he's yanking the officer's chain and like you can see him smirk while he's doing it. Like he's such a shit disturber. I love him.
The punctuation on all of that, after all the smirking, which is excellent, Lan, and then all the incredible ship acrobatics, the punctuation to finish it off is that really long hold on the humiliated officer's face at the end.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Okay, slight digression.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Lan.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say the scene where Andor learns that Marva's dead is just like so beautifully
really
haunting.
It's
It's
Space
like
Miami has never looked prettier.
Oh man, can you imagine finding out your parents died in Miami?
Yeah, well,
your parents died while being in Miami. Not
I
if my parents died in Miami, I'd be pissed.
I can imagine that. So, like, I'm sure that's happened. Like, not a small number of times.
This is a question for Keigen, and Lan might have the answer too. Keigen, you said that people are annoying and said that Luthen's a Jedi because of that scene. I wanted to know, what is the most annoying online opinion you see about this show?
That one might be it for me.
Yeah.
I mean, also like it's boring. That's probably the one that like just watch the show. Like stop being so TikTok brained that you can't like watch a kind of slow show. I get that it's really like 3 movies and that's just watch the whole thing.
The former comment is even an accessor to the latter because maybe it's boring because there are no Jedi.
Yeah,
or it's boring
which is also annoying.
Jedi shit.
People who think there needs to be Jedi shit in Star Wars are like. Fine, whatever. You're my age. You're a millennial who grew up on the prequels is who you are.
You're Sam Witwer.
Yeah, that, yes. I genuinely do think like the Luthen is a Jedi stuff is pretty low on there. There's probably some like leftist readings of this of some of this stuff. Like the fandom around Nemec is, I get it. He's baby boy. But especially this watch, I'm like, he's in it very little. Like the manifesto stuff is very important to the last episode. And I do love hearing his voice reading it. But like, there's a lot of more crunchy stuff going on here. Even Marva alone, I think is more fun to kind of unpack and think about too. From both angles, from like a leftist aging revolutionary character to the ethical abduction of Cassian. So, but I don't think that ranks anywhere near Luthen being a Jedi. That's just so silly. People like looked up his toy early to try to see if his cane was a lightsaber and stuff like that.
That's awful.
It's yeah. The lasers coming out of the ship. They're like, oh, that's and it's like they're just lasers, dude. They're like
the Kyber crystal from the Aldani arc.
They're using it's dumb as hell. Yeah. I did take this note for this stuff, the Mon stuff. Imagine Hillary Clinton was funding Hamas. That's
I'm imagining a utopia.
Be
in my
cooler
mind
if she
right
did.
now.
yeah, exactly. It'd be
My
much
mind is
cooler
no
if she
longer
did.
a sunless place after hearing that.
To be clear, that was a let's go kind of comment. Like that was like yes, this is sick. Oh, okay. I think the last note for episode 11 for me is that the Krieger stuff. I want to come back to the Krieger stuff because I really do, as much as I agree with you, Saul. I think there are like kind of some fundamental problems with the scene with Luthen and how the interaction between Krieger and Saul and Luthen is like definitely wanting. However, the like SEAL Team 6, we got him shot in the NIS is dope.
Oh, yeah.
Like the fact that it's delivered that way on like this very boring screen with some red dots on it is so disgusting. And they knew exactly what they were doing. Like, and then so I almost wrap around to liking the disconnect that like this is the way we're introduced to him being dead is a spreadsheet basically.
He's just a dot on a screen.
I hate it and it's evil. And they're really smart for doing that. So and then did Cyril rob his mom? I think Cyril robbed his mom, her like jewelry thing.
Probably at some point. Oh, I completely forgot. I forget if it's an episode. Oh, it's in episode 9. Cyril meeting up with Dedra and trying to rizz her up over their psychotic obsession with Andor.
And her finding
Crazy
him
work.
weird also is very good.
Yeah.
It pays
Oh,
off
God.
though. Pays
It
off for
does.
Cyril.
Yeah.
He saves
You
her
know,
life.
nice guys don't finish last, guys.
Because
That's the
sometimes they
moral of the
never
story.
finish.
Yeah. Cyril's a true edger.
Okay. Let's get
all right.
into the finale.
Let's do this.
It just kind of like goes. It's a machine that ends. It's very smart. The way I think it really works the way they get everyone together back on Ferrix. I think it works like fundamentally. None of them. It doesn't feel weird that anybody's there. Like Mon doesn't show up, right? She still gets to see. She gets to sell her daughter off to the mob, but everyone else there, like it makes sense. Luthen really, really, really wants to kill Cass. Like he's super horny to kill Cass. Vel coming back makes sense because she loves Cinta, which props. That's y'all got a like a very clearly lesbian relationship into a Star Wars. Cool, good job.
Now make them kiss.
What I really love about how they do the revolution, like when it pops off here, is it really captures how chaotic that would be.
Yeah.
I had a note. I was writing this note. I said, no one knows what's going on. And as I was writing that note, someone asks Deidre, what's going on? And she says, no one knows.
That's awesome. That's so good. Oh,
It rules.
that's fantastic. Yeah.
Keigen, I want to go back to the point that you made about like everyone being here, because thinking more about like the idea of collectivist societies, like the funeral, of course, is going to be the nexus point for a lot of these things, because in a lot of like for instance, when my grandfathers died, those were big events. A lot of people came through, people that they weren't even a part of my family, but they had interacted with him. It's this idea that when one member of the community dies, it's something that affects everyone. It's not just the immediate family or whatever, right? So I think having Marva's funeral be this like huge procession it really hammers home like what kind of society Ferrix is. In the extras, Gilroy says that he wanted the funeral procession music to be like a New Orleans second line funeral or an IRA provisional funeral, and you can really see it here.
Yeah,
Like
the sound especially too. Like it so defines like everything about it. Yeah. And it's interesting because like Marva is a revolutionary herself, but like in her speech, right, she addresses Ferrix being communal but not revolutionary. Like she addresses them being happy to work together. We want to help each other. We're there, but we're not trying to stop this too. And I think that's a really cool note to go along with all of that stuff too, because like Gilroy obviously is trying to tell a story about revolution and tell a story about communities rising up, but like injecting it in that way, it's just so it's so cool. Like in every different aspect of it, from the music to the bricking, right? The bricking is such an incredible metaphor. They bake their dead into bricks and then they put them into the walls. What? Yeah, it's amazing. Like it's so cool. On a bunch of different levels, they're like just really funneling things into this, like this community was ready to act. And yeah, like start throwing bombs, dude. Throw a bomb at that car. That's a good move.
Get bricked.
Get bricked, dude. Brasso using the brick is still like,
oh, Brasso going berserker mode. I was hyped as I was hyped.
he took that guy out with a brick. Oh, it rules. It rules so much.
I want to touch on Willman, because Willman's also a really interesting character in all of this, because this episode starts with Willman building the bomb, and in earlier episodes, we see that his father was tortured and then hung, and I what I find so interesting is, like, this is a person with brown skin, that you are positioning as a linchpin of the big moment in this episode, right? The moment where the revolution actually properly starts on Ferrix. And so to have Willman be this like focus figure is like, I don't know how deeply they thought about it, but it really hits. It really hits for me.
Yeah. I mean, everybody who gets on the escape ship at the end, like none of them are white either. You got Brasso.
Brasso.
You got is Brasso white?
Brasso is white.
Brasso white? Okay.
Brasso is white. He's played by a white
European.
guy.
He's European, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a crazy name. His actor's name is Joplin Sipton.
Oh,
but,
okay.
He is white, to my knowledge.
Okay.
Let me verify this.
He's the man.
Oh, it's funny. The third thing. So Joplin Sipton. If you type it on Google, the first three results are Joplin Sipton movies and TV shows, Joplin Sipton wife, and then the third one is Joplin Sipton ethnicity.
Like you sense the white. Okay.
I sense the white.
Congratulations.
Yes.
You sense the white. You are surrounded by it right now. We have you on both sides.
Yeah. That's my Matt Murdock radar vision.
Yeah. He can see hot women. You can see white.
I can see white. Yeah. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, he's half. No, wait, hold on. I'm reading this right now. Let's see.
We're getting new information right now, folks. Live.
Guys, hold on. I'm reading this live. There's a lot of stuff going on here. His mother, Mary, his family called him Chook, the first sound he gurgled as an infant, and it stuck. I don't know my dad. I met him once when I was very young, but I don't remember much about it, confessed Chook. He was an Arab who lived in Pakistan. He came over to Britain in the 60s, married my mom, and they had me. So he's half white. Okay.
I always appreciate any opportunity Lan can get to do race science, but I also want to gently remind you both that we're almost at 3 hours.
That's what Andor does. That's what Andor does to a podcast.
It's true.
I do gotta go pretty soon.
Yes.
Heard. The chaos of the
Marva
finale
saying
battle.
the Empire. It gets edited, and the extras do confirm Marva does say the Empire.
Yeah, they do. I do like the change. I think the first fucking Star Wars would go down similarly to the first fucking the MCU. And it's just like, I don't think you ever need to pull that cord personally. Like, it's fine. Plus, I also think fight thematically is better. I think it's stronger.
Sure, yeah. We also get the return of Nurchi, one of the guys that Cassian is owing debts to in the first episode. And I like
love for Nurchi?
Love for Nurchi, because he gets bombed. It was really
blown
sick.
The hell up. Yeah.
He makes the mistake of going near the windows and immediately gets blasted to pieces. So I wrote, "Rest in piss, Nurchi, you rat bastard."
Yeah. I do love the bit that, like, okay, obviously, the Empire started the riot at the end of Marva's speech. But it really started when they kicked B2 over, and how dare you? That's my boy. We're gonna get your ass if you do that. We're gonna end you. Cyril saving Deidre, incredible. I have, this is Cyril's entire storyline is the perks of being a simp. That's a genre that goes with Barbie, the film, the hit
Ken.
film Barbie, and also The Movable Feast, an Ernest Hemingway book. The perks of being a simp is obviously it's an ironic statement, but still true here. Still true.
Okay.
I'm happy Biggs got saved, and the last scene with Cass and Luthen is really, really good.
Yeah, that's like the perfect what's it called, conclusion, like the first line of your conclusion paragraph to the show's thesis, like, what have you learned after these 12 episodes? What kind of person are you? How have you changed? That's what the conversation is.
Yeah, even like Cass choosing, he could have escaped with Brass and Bix, like that's his family. Him choosing to go to Luthen and be like, actually, I'm part of this, and we need to go pick up my boy Melshi, and we need to tell everybody about the prisons. Like, all that is I mean, some of that is
it's also the idea that by that point he has nothing left to anchor him to Ferrix.
Yeah.
And he has nothing left to anchor him to anyone else that is in Ferrix. He has no more Marva. So what in that case, what does he move to? He moves to the rebellion. Mm-hmm. So good finale. Really good finale. Yeah. I'm really interested to see. I've seen a lot of people fearing the possibility of season 2 falling off. I'm not afraid of it falling off. I do think it could happen. I don't. It's just the kind of thing where it's like, don't trust franchise stuff. Don't trust corporate franchise stuff too much. Again, I knew Andor was going to be good because it was going to be the kind of franchise thing that was good. But now we're creeping up on, like, we didn't know how this season was going to end, right? We didn't know what was actually going to happen here, how because it's an in-between point. But knowing that season 2 ends at Rogue One is you're a little more trapped. Yeah,
I think it's going to get
I will say, even if this didn't get a season 2, I'm fine with this ending where it did.
It's a great ending. Ending.
It's the anti-acolyte in that sense, where you don't need a second season to
R.I.P.
Yeah. Sentimentality and nostalgia. Midnight Grappler Animals Patreon. Patreon.com/Midnight Grappler Animals.
So true. And one last thing I will say. Recently, Penguin made me insane because people were saying it was so good and people were treating it like it was Sopranos. And so I tweeted something that was like, Penguin and Andor make nerds forget how to talk about good shit. And I was wrong. Andor is on a completely different level than the Penguin. Like, it's not even close. They're not comparable.
For what it's worth, I am a Star Wars skeptic, always will be. I went into this and had a blast. I will never watch the Penguin.
Let's go. Yeah. No, they're not.
You know what?
They're not
So maybe I'll join you on that journey. Maybe I'll join you on that journey.
It's been good so far.
Yeah. It's been pretty liberating, actually.
Well, for this journey, we're at a very high number of minutes. And thank you for listening to all of them. Every single one of them. Every single one of you who listened, thank you. We are found in other places like Bluesky. We have a Discord. You should join it. You can find us you can email us, midnightgrappleranimals@gmail.com. I want to do Q&As, so if you're listening to this, you got all the way here, email us a question. Discord, send us a question on Discord or something. We're going to collect them all. We're going to do a mailbag or something. I don't know. I'd like to. If you have money to support us, please do so. We have a lot of very fun stuff we've been doing lately. We are going to do a weekly Andor Season 2 podcast. But it's the $5 on Patreon to do that. So patreon.com/midnightgrappleranimals. Head over there. We already have a bunch of stuff. We've talked about a couple of them throughout this episode. Very fun B-sides where we talked about some Star Wars stuff before this. Fun, $5. You get that. You get all those shows, and they're definitely worth it. And I mean, that's what we're here for, really. If you can't, please rate, review on your podcast app of choice. Only 5-star ones, not just good. Okay, we need 5 stars. That's what I'm asking from you. Don't be too picky. You can say things you don't like in the review, but 5 stars rating it. We're doing Manga May also. We're going to be doing a poll We already did a poll, or we are currently doing a poll when this comes out. Either
By
way.
the time this comes out, it will be out.
But you know what? Be excited about Manga May. Be excited about it. We're excited about it. I'm just saying that right now. And now, guys, Tastemaker's grab bag. What do we got?
All right, I'll be quick with mine. Broken Rage. It's the new Takeshi Kitano movie. It's really just an hour of a bunch of guys shooting the shit and having fun. I recommend that. And then I've been watching a lot of the Criterion Free Week stuff. So from that, I'd recommend All We Imagine Is Light, as well as Mishima, Life in 4 Chapters.
Nice. So
yeah, good movies, good movies.
I have a movie and a book. I have Amadeus. I finally caught Amadeus. I watched the director's cut on Criterion. It rocked. I was surprised at how much it influenced Tim Burton's Batman. Fun movie. I also read William Steig's Shrek, the book. It's way different than the movie. It's like a 3-minute read because it's for 3-year-olds, and Shrek is a irredeemable, disgusting oaf in it. So much cooler than the movie.
well, he is played by Mike Myers, so you know.
Hey, listen, that's Scarborough's very own. All right, that's.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I have nothing against Mike Myers. I'm just saying the creative interpretation is far better.
I just wanted to attack Mike Myers.
You just wanted to attack Mike Myers.
Yeah, why not?
My glorious Scarberian king.
All right, Keigen, let's get this under 3. What do you got?
No Other Land. I saw it in tiny theater. It's. I wish it was more widely available. I think it really is the simplest way to show what's going on. And if there's any way for you to watch it or to show it to others who should watch it, it is like an incredible resource to exist in that way. And yeah, that's it for me, because I'm saving other stuff for a different episode.
Yeah, which we're recording tomorrow. So
yeah,
we've run into that issue once again, that off-season issue.
That's okay. I planned for that. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you, listeners, for being here for us.
Thank you for sticking around for almost 3 hours.
Yeah, it's worth it. Andor's worth it, and we all know that. This was an arc length podcast. Maybe there will be more. There will be a lot more. So thank you for listening again, and as always,
stay horny. Grappling. Oh.
I couldn't resist.
God damn it. We're going to keep doing this until Blind with Justice is over.
We only have so often. So many more
I like
times,
saying stay horny. It's fun.
It's funny.
Yeah. It also makes no sense for anyone that hasn't listened to us.
Patreon.com/midnightgrappleranimal.